And it is April 26, 2017. I'm making this recording just to talk about, give an update as to what is going on to do with my twin flame journey. Oh boy, is it a doozy. It's been such a long time since I recorded, but I think it's important for me to speak about what's happening, what I'm experiencing, how I'm feeling in the moment now, instead of waiting until when I catch up, sort of. And so as of today, I have not heard from Colin. We were supposed to go out on Saturday to go to the salt mine therapy, and he didn't show up. And it was very odd because he told me he was going to be here by 5:30 at Saturday, and he was the one that called me and asked me about going. And I said, okay, how long am I going to have with you? Do I need to kidnap you? And he said, and we laughed about it, and he said, no, he's going to spend all the time in the world with me. And it didn't happen. And then, he didn't pick up the phone. He didn't call me back or nothing. So it's the same thing again. And I started to think about the first day that he had contacted me saying, wanted to know what I was doing for New Year's to hang out with me. And I had gotten dressed. I was ready to go, and he never called. He didn't come, nothing. So I couldn't possibly think that, he did that, and to think that, I did anything for that to happen. And so now here I am again. The same thing happened again, and I'm like, I don't understand this. And I was like, this is crazy. And I felt dissed. I felt bad. And I said, okay, is there something for me to look at here? Because I said, I know I don't deserve to be treated that way. Then I think about all these retrogrades going on, and then I'm thinking about, what it takes just to come into union. Because, this union is not just to do with Rondi. The union has to do with Colin as well. And this is like more work for me. And to be able to go back into any type of normalcy is what has been happening for me recently. When I say normalcy, I'm talking in terms of, the things that I normally used to do, like, working, get up, whatever time I go to bed, whatever. And being able to, I would say, function without having all these energies surrounding me where it's affecting me, and then on top of that, Brenda, I found out, unfriended me on Facebook and unfollowed me on Instagram, but yet still she's still following Colin on Instagram and liking off his pictures and everything, and vice versa. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. What have I done? So I said, because I talked to her about what I pick up on in energy to do with her meeting, to try to meet with her divine complement. And I guess she was getting more annoyed because she keeps talking about, how she longs to go on a date and she longs for this and that, but yet still she's procrastinating and have all this fear and everything, and to do with her body. It's just so much different things. And, and I had to talk about this because then I had to ask myself, what is it about me? What is it about me when it comes to myself and going above and beyond helping others? And then it makes me feel like I get kicked in the face once again. Kicked in the face, not literally. And I felt so hurt. I said, two people in the world that I love, because even I was at the mall yesterday and I saw this t-shirt that talked about, my best friend is crazy. And then the other t-shirt says, no, this one is her. So I thought about me and her, because I thought, wow, we have this kind of dynamic, unique relationship as twin flames, where her twin looks like mine looks like his. They act like each other and everything like that. Now we end up having divine compliments, and then she cuts me off. And yet still she had stated that she's not the person to do that. And I never, ever, ever cut anybody off. And I was like, wow. Because she sent me a joke on Instagram, and I responded back to her, and I remember she responded to my story on Instagram, and she told me how gorgeous I looked and everything like that. And so I sent her some jokes Sunday night, and then all of a sudden I'm unfriended. So I scratched my head and I was like, what the fuck, But I said, you know what, it's okay. Everything has to happen for a reason. So I had to go through another disconnect or pulling away within my soul. And when you're so used to interacting with someone, and you know how they make a difference in your life, and she's made a difference in my life. And there are times when she's like a pain in my ass, not a lot, but just the times when sometimes it feels so taxing, when she and I can talk like no fucking tomorrow. I mean, she's just like me in that way. She'll talk and talk and talk for hours, and so do I. I won't say no. But there's times when I find, oh my God, she's so heavy and stuck in certain ways when it comes to how she looks at her twin flame journey. And all I mean was just to tell her things that would help her, so she lightens up herself and see things in a different perspective. And so we all see things in different perspectives. But never in a million years would I have thought that she would unfriend me. And this is about spiritual maturity, and this is about not with any labels, but when people talk about being Christians and loving unconditionally, but yet still she cuts me off, and I'm like, wow. So I've had to process this. I had to process this a whole lot today, on what my eyes is seeing and what my heart is feeling, and it's just so sad. Sometimes I said, God, what is the use? I try with so many, and it's not the majority that this happens with, but I told Brenda, it's her that I feel that I get so much resistance. And I've had resistance hardly from anyone else. I mean, anything else that I've had as far as what one would say against me may have been like those who've turned away, like Karen has turned away from me. She doesn't talk to me anymore anyway, to do with the fact that I have two men in my life, and one is my twin and one is my divine complement, and how ironic that Spirit guided me to listen back to Mel's videos. Now, even though I've had my qualms about Mel, because he was the first twin flame in union that I watched when I started out on my journey, and I used to think like, God, he's so boring, fall asleep and everything. And then at some point I saw this ego that was coming through from him, but at the same time I didn't push him away in terms of, well, I'm never going to listen to his videos ever again, because I have a motto that we all are here to, well, I am here to gather information from whomever that Spirit guides me to, because it is going to help me to put all the pieces together to our puzzles, because it's not just my puzzle, it's everybody's puzzle. It's so important. This is what allows us to not be as ignorant as most people are, and when I say use ignorance, I'm using it in terms of enlightening ourselves, enlightening yourself into understanding what is happening on the planet, how things are speeding up so rapidly, and what's going on here, and how we can apply what we're experiencing to what someone else might say that you may not have gotten, but someone else has gotten. If you don't like anything else that you've heard, then you can just leave the rest behind and take the rest with you. But I'm saying that it's really kind of a shame when you cut yourself off from someone, because you never know how that person may help you on your journey. And so one of the things that I'm going to give Mel some credit for is he confirmed my experience that I've been having with Colin and Rondi at the same time, as my, as Rondi is my twin flame and Colin is my divine complement. And he's a very strong, closest match to my twin. So Rondi is 100% and Colin is 98%. There are a lot of similarities and differences between the three of us, but we blend together, and it is a strong energy, and it is a powerful energy, as we are ordained by God to do God's work for what we're here to do on the planet. So not everyone may understand what this means, but it is very important. And so whatever I'm experiencing with Brenda right now is that she's not at a level where I'm at. And no matter what, I still love her. And it hurts, so to go through these experiences. But I went through this with Linda also. But the one thing with Linda, she she didn't cut me off, but we did kind of gave ourselves space, you know. Lauren, she had cut me off, and now Brenda cut me off, and anyone else who has cut me off has not affected me as deeply as, you know, as what's happened. And even Lori had cut me off, but then with her, it just felt like such a strong deception, and that seems to be a theme that has played out so much in my life, is deception and being let down, you know. And so my perception of being let down gives me more room to even look at what am I working on within myself to not feel let down. Because, you know, you can be as precautious as you could ever be in your life, and no one is perfect. No one is perfect. But things can be quite disappointing along the way. And then at the same time, I know that God is doing this for a reason and on purpose, because sometimes we have to be separated from one another in order to come back into the wholeness in a whole new way. And so Brenda's perception about her thoughts on twin flame journey is she's not at a place of understanding it fully. And I think part of it is because she doesn't allow herself to even more research and have more information come her way and dive into it even more deeper to understand what it means, because she more looks at it as a 3D relationship pattern, when I've been saying that it's a union of the soul. And funny enough, she had said last week, she said, "Oh, Sharon, you and I are in union, you know, because we're together as sisters and stuff." But yet still she cut me off. So she's not there. She's not there yet. So when I think of which one of my sisters are still in union with me, regardless of whether they understand me fully, regardless of whether they felt I offended them or not, maybe I didn't, maybe not, maybe I did, you know, I can count on one hand that knows my journey, whether they're twin soul or not. Cheryl, Patricia, Linda has not cut me off. Even though we separated from each other, she never unfriended me. We may not have the same conversations, but you know what? She still has more spiritual maturity. Me, Cheryl, more spiritual maturity. Cheryl may have pulled away from me at times, but not pulled away because I did anything. It's just that spirit sometimes separates us in order for us to gather up the information and to have a single conversation and a single relationship, you know, where there is no one that is with us. Sometimes God wants us to really take it to that secret place, you know, for us to take ourselves to that secret place and have communion with her and him, and connect to that divine nature, to who we are, and to receive divine messages, and to also step away from the distractions. So it's ironic that I met Colin and Brenda just about the same time. I was involved with them just about the same time. And now neither one of them are speaking to me at the same time. That's what's amazing. But, you know, I don't know, nor do I have the exact formula or science to this. But I do know that life is still continuing. This ascension is still continuing. We just don't know what to expect and what it looks like, and it changes. Even Mel admitted in his video, I listened to 2 specific videos that he talked about that I resonated with a whole lot, because this is exactly how I feel based on my experience. So anything that I'm talking about, when I prefer to talk about anything, I prefer to talk about it based on my experience, not because I'm listening to what someone else's experience is, you know, because it makes a huge difference. It really does. So one of the videos he did, Mel, I'm talking about, was, do I have more than one twin flame? And the other one was, I'm going to look it up right now because I want to make sure I say it correctly. because it basically had to do with not putting your twin flame journey as a 3D relationship, because most people are doing that. And he's so right, because I already have released and let go of any expectations when it comes to Rondi. Really. And he and I already are in union. We are in union. We are in union. And I say that because I know for some people, they look at being in union is, well, it's also about being physically in union. Well, it's not about just being physically in union. And I'm not saying I'm physically in union with Rondi. What I'm saying is that energetically, the union between he and I is even stronger. It's even stronger. What is a part of it becoming stronger? Who is a part of it being stronger is with Colin, really, his brother. And no matter what, it's not going away. It's going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because that is where God has me with them. We cannot run away from one another, even if we tried. Even if I say, I don't want to deal with this. I've had it. I don't want this. This is ridiculous. This is too much. It's hard on me. It's take a toll on me. It doesn't matter what I want. This is what God wants. This is God's plan. This is God's ultimate plan to what the all there is and to what is, even if I don't have the entire picture. Even if I don't have the entire picture. That's what's so crazy about this. And I have been stating that we cannot fit our twin flame journey in a box. We cannot place God in a box. There is no formula to this. And if you hold on to any expectations or any way that you expect your twin flame journey to be, you are setting yourself up to be disappointed. You really are. You're leaving yourself room to be disappointed. And the reason I say that is because if you hold on to an expectation of how you expect your twin flame journey to be, God is still going to bring you on a path of things that you might not expect. And it's almost like a testing, but not quite a test, because I never like to look at this as a testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if you pass your test. No, it's more like truly letting go of what the 3D mind concept might perceive how things may be to do with your journey. I will say this again, this is a self journey, and it really is a self journey. Now, I know I'm going to be going all over the place, but I want to speak from my heart. I prefer to speak from my heart, but I'm not distracted by looking at a camera. I rather speak where I'm speaking openly and freely, and how the information flows. And so I'm going to go to the part where I'm talking about Colin and Rondi. And I will definitely be putting more pieces together from conversations I've had from several people, with everything that's happened, with where God has led me, even with knowing that this is for real. This is for real. My template is polyamorous. And this polyamorous template is not based on, I'm going to be with 4 or 5 men. No, this is based on me and Colin and Rondi. And funny enough, I was driving last week or so, and I see a vehicle says me and 2. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, it's like plain as day. Spirit is saying, it's me and them. It's me and my 2 men. That's it. That's it. I can't doubt it. I can't question it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't even matter what they say, because this is what God is saying. And the reason for it, the purpose, it's a grand purpose. It's a grand reunion of masculine and feminine. The feminine was first, and she brought forth her divine counterparts. I did, divine counterparts. It was necessary because of where we were going with the planet and the seeds that were being planted. It's literal seeds and and seeds that is within the womb. You see, what I'm about to give birth to on the planet with these 2 divine gentlemen. And our lives have been turned upside down, right side up in so many ways, even if I don't have all the details. And so all I know is that my union is about me, Colin, and Rondi. And still Ivan, and still his name is Ron. Colin. So ironic they use their middle names, and I'm using my middle name too as my name. It's like we just have so much similarities and differences. It's like Rondi wears jewelry, I wear jewelry. Colin doesn't wear jewelry. Colin wears glasses, I wear glasses. Rondi doesn't wear glasses. I think it might be sort of tested, but not tested. I'm not sure. They both wear dreads, and I have short hair. They have the long hair, like that's the but who says females must have long hair to say that you're feminine? Colin doesn't wear tattoos. I don't like tattoos, and I don't think Colin likes tattoos, but Rondi loves tattoos. He wears tattoos, Colin is more easygoing type of energy, I feel, and Rondi is more conservative, and he's not much into the social media, but Colin is in social media, and so am I. They're both Cancer. They're water signs, and I'm an air sign. Rondi's moon is in Pisces, and so am I. So we're very intuitive, very psychic. I have yet to know what Colin's chart is, but I have a feeling it's very similar to Rondi's because they're only 1 year apart and a few days. It's amazing. And Colin doesn't like cold food, neither do I. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just amazing. He doesn't like coldness in any way or form either, just like me. If the water gets cold, nope, not going in the water. It's just so funny. He doesn't like his food to be cold, neither do I. So I'm going to go into what it is that can happen on this twin flame journey for some of you. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's polyamorous, but it's a choice. I know what my journey is because it's been shown to me. Some divine feminines have come to me because they have met their divine counterparts, and some of them have come in divine complement, and they also have their twin with similar names as their twin also. In some cases, some of us are being with our divine complements to heal a lot of wounding, sexual healing, intimacy, healing with intimacy, healing when it comes to their relationship, healing when it comes to their bodies. That's what's happened with me from the time that I have been with Colin. And I even asked him at what point he was thinking about something new for himself when it comes to relationship, because it goes both ways in the thoughts and the consciousness, because even with Rondi, it's the same thing. It's like I was ready for a higher spiritual connection, and that's how Rondi appeared. And then Colin appeared, because I was ready for the physical aspect, and here he is, here I am. Of course, in between, who says that things can be just smooth just like that? You have rough patches too. And I did tell him and explain to him, which he is very consciously aware of who I am as a twin and his brother. And yes, of course there's jealousy, of course there would be, and we keep ascending in different stages to the point where there is no jealousy, there is no conflicts, there is no more purging, and there's more harmony. You see, that's what it comes to. And this is where we're stepped more into our power. This is where we kind of like deal with things differently, not in a regular way when it comes to a relationship, communication, to become more effective with communication, to be open and speaking about our feelings and thoughts, letting go of belief systems, breaking those down, because what makes this so ideal and important is the fact that we're also in an expression of an expansion of love. That's the main ingredient, at least as far as my journey. I'm here on a high spiritual level in terms of love. really truly being expressed in its divine way. And when I say in its divine way, I'm talking about extremely expanded, very expanded. And it's expanded in such a way that it's in an energy of being high heart. High heart is a high heart energy. And this love flows between me and my divine counterparts. And it sends me up even higher in frequency. You see, and I had already recorded when I was in that moment when it happened. I haven't had this in quite a while between the both of them, because it's been more clearing going on with all these moons, planets. I say moons, planets that are in retrograde. And oh my God, when Venus was in retrograde, that was the most intense, hurt, painful, oh my God, type of experience that I've ever had. And I even have been able to have more information when it comes to the divine masculine, with the interaction that I've had with Colin, based on how he speaks and what he says, because it gives me a greater idea, because this is all based on not only me observing, but I'm also experiencing my own things, and I have to observe my own experiences, even if it hurts like a bitch, or if it's weird for me. And then I talk to him about it, because I even was able to purge through something with him at the same time and still stay in that space of love. And he understood that, and a lot of times I wasn't even communicating with him on the phone, and had to go there in person. And because Holy Spirit just moved me to just be centered, you see. And so besides talking about this from the third dimensional aspect, I must speak about this in the higher dimensional aspect as well. So important. And so it's important to understand that you do and you can experience this twin flame journey, this twin flame experience, through your divine complement or a higher soulmate. It is not just exclusive to your twin. I have also had the high heart twin flame feeling of being in love, feeling like I'm in love with someone else, a male and a female. And it was temporary. I had to feel that energy and that feeling within me, as far as being in love, like desiring to merge with them. Like I wanted to merge with them. I wanted to make love to them. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? This is strange. But I knew that even though it was strange, I had the spiritual maturity to understand it, and also to move through it, and also to be able to talk about it, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to go through the motion of all the things that I'm experiencing ahead of time than others, so that way I will be the one to help those who are about to or have already experienced it and they don't understand it. The one thing about me is that if I'm having an experience and I've never had it before, I don't label it and term it as bad or crazy, or it's not good, or someone's out to get me, or somebody have voodoo me, or or the devil is strong. It's all these things what human beings do because of the experiences they have and they don't understand, you see, or because they've never had it before and therefore they dismiss it, or therefore they push it away, or they don't want to look at it, or they want to go back to their normal state of living. We cannot go back to a normal state of living. We can't. It just doesn't work. It's not happening. I haven't. No one else is. See? So, as I've always stated before, that the way how this is happening is where we are remaining in high heart. We're heading back to that place for those who choose to be in high heart. And not only being in high heart, but the mere fact that we're going to be in love with each other. All of us in love with each other. Doesn't matter what relationship you are with the person. This is where we are heading to. And this is when we've let go of a lot of the third dimensional exclusivity. Oh, this love is only to be experienced only with my twin, or only with this one person. No, This is an expansion of love for every soul. And it doesn't mean that you're going to merge or have a sacred sexual act with every single person that you're in love with. It is your choice, of course. You see? But remember, everything is energy, but we're still all coming back to that place where we're in love with each other. And the planet is vibrating with this love with us at the same time. The plants, the trees, the animals, they're all in that energy of being in love as well. No one is attacking one another or going against each other or hissy-fitting over titles and names and what is and what looks right, and no references to books or tablets or letters or all of that stuff or what's in the records in the past. No, all of that will be of the past. Only thing that remains is love. The focus will be on love. The focus will be on being in love. That is what it is. That's what it is. You see? And so it's important for a lot of twin souls especially to know that your twin flame template may not be what you think it may be. I'm not saying that if most will not come into reunion, that's not for me to say. You will know, you'll be guided. All I'm saying is that the way to your union may not be what you expect it to be, because even some who are in union, physical union, you probably are going to find yourself being in love. Matter of fact, not probably, our spirit is saying yes, you are going to find yourself being in love with someone else as well. And then, oh shit, the shit's gonna hit the fan now, because you see, the way how God does things, God is not going to have us just read something or hear something to say if it's true or not. You're going to have the experience. You see, because the same way how my phone was typing things and I was having all these extraordinary stuff going on with me, and whoever had guess what? You are all going to have it too, if you haven't already. And I really truly believe that some people only have some experiences depending on their level of spiritual maturity and what they're ready for. But if anyone who's running in fear or not facing things head on, you're going to feel more pain. You're going to feel more heartache and pain. And if you're feeling pain and heartache because you're missing your twin, or you haven't heard from him or her, or something's affecting you emotionally, because you're having expectations, or you are not seeing things the way how you want it to be, or you are having demands placed, or whatever the case may be, if you are holding that experience as a third dimensional concept and conditions placed on it, you're going to feel more pain. You're going to feel more pain, and it'll be more intense. And when I say feel more pain, I'm not talking about somebody's taking a knife and stabbing you, or stepping on your foot, or bashing you across the head. I'm talking about emotional pain. And it's because of the attachment that you have to it, being attached to it and not completely letting go. You can't fool the universe and say, oh yes, I've let go of him, but then you're talking about him or her 24 hours 7 days a week. Now, I know you're saying, but how can I do that? How can I manage to not talk about or whatever if I'm experiencing this every single day? Okay, there is a way to balance things out with where you place your emphasis and your focus and attention on this. And this may involve where you are, focusing on yourself, like going out, allowing yourself to have a date with someone else, or going out to the movies, playing a song, dance, art, getting involved with art, traveling, something, be focused on your mission, your journey, whatever it is that you are being pulled to do that. I know there's some people who say that, focus on your mission, because your mission is more important than you being in the physical with your twin, because that's the ultimate thing, whatever. But you know what I say? I say focus on everything, but just don't put too much emphasis on one thing all the time. Keep it in balance. Do you see what I'm saying? So even if you focus on your twin for a moment and say, I love you, I send you so much love, I love you with all my heart, and then you bring it back to yourself and focus on yourself, and then you understand me. That's how it is. You go this way and that way, because I was explaining to Patricia. I love you, Patricia. I'm talking about the Patricia who's a twin, and she doesn't give me resistance at all. And she's asked me the most pressing questions. But you know what? At least I'm glad she asked the questions than not. And I told her, I said, think of a scale. You have a scale where you have 10 stones. And if you have 10 stones that are on one side of the scale, and then just one stone on one side of the scale, the left side of the scale that have the 10 stones is it's just gonna fall down, it's gonna weigh down heavy, right? And so something has to come into balance. So it's either you have to take 4 stones and put it onto the right side so it can come into balance, so it's not as heavy. And we got to clear out all that old stuff so things come into balance and staying centered, you see. And it does mean that you look at things from a higher perspective first, if you can. Catch yourself. Listen to yourself when you speak. What are you putting out there in consciousness? What are you speaking? What are you feeling? What is your belief system? If you believe that you will not be with your twin, then you won't be. If you believe that you'll be in union with yourself and your twin, and that your mission is on purpose, and that you know that you're being guided, you're seeing the syncs, you're putting it together. When you see them, are you lighthearted or are you getting mad? Are you upset? If someone says something to you and it affects you, why does it affect you? Why are you upset? If it gets you angry, if it gets you upset, then that's the part for you to look at. What am I healing within myself because of this? Do you see? And that's where you go from there. That's your guide, your signpost. Like, even though I didn't hear from Colin, I'm telling you can't make this shit up. It's just so freaking crazy. Or fucking crazy. Almost every day I'd been seeing Eve everywhere on license plates. Eve 1111 11111. I told him that I have been seeing, every time I see 111, it's associated with him, and with Rondi it's 666 or 616. Because Rondi found me on 66. Can't believe it's going to be 3 years come this June. And with Colin it's 111 because he and I, we came together physically and energetically, spiritually, emotionally, and sacred sexually on 111. And that was just before my mom's birthday, because my mother's birthday is January 12th. And it was just like being in heaven to the 10th power. And even though when it did happen, Rondi's energetic body was with me. His energetic body was with me. And you will hear the gist of that in, from when I play recordings, which is going in the book, to do with what happened that night. And I had to understand what was happening through me, not to me, because I'm not a victim. That's the thing. It's like whenever I'm in an experience of something that I've never had before, I choose to understand what's happening. And so Rondi's higher self was already giving me the go ahead to be with Colin. That's right. He had come and gave me a sync. I love the two of Ono, which is in Patois. What are the chances of having a license plate in my face as I come out of the vehicle that says love the two Ono? And I knew it had to do with me and Colin. So I had to let go of the concept that my love that I have, this deep bond and love that I have, is only with Rondi. Because you see, the first day I met Colin, I told him that I loved him. And I had to tell him the truth of it, because that time he didn't know that I knew his brother, but then I didn't orchestrate this. Everything was just happening so fast, and everything was happening to go according to God's plan, with how he started following me on Instagram after I followed him back, because their sister, she I had sent a request from months ago, way months ago, and then it just happened to happen on the day that it happened. And so everything just follows in itself consecutively, one after the other, one after the other. It was designed to be this way. And And I mean, even her phone called me and I was like, oh, why is she calling me? Oh my God. Because I didn't tell her anything, because I didn't get into any conversations with her about this, but I'm just going in between a lot of stuff. And when I finally picked up the nerve to call her, I said to her, I said, you called me and, I was calling you back. She's like, I didn't call you, Sean. I said, yes, your phone called me. She said, oh, that was the baby. He must have picked up the phone and was calling randomly. And I was like, oh my God, what are the chances of her son, her baby son, calling me? And this baby, by the way, is the baby that I dreamt about where I was with Randy back in Italy. This was a dream that I had. And this was a past life dream. And he and I were with the kids. And I was babysitting a baby, and I said the baby was one of his siblings' baby. It wasn't my baby. And lo and behold, about a day or so later, I see his sister post, oh, she had her baby. And I was like, oh shit, I had the dream beforehand. So, it's just so many different syncs and amazing signs and stuff that leads me from one thing to the next to do with Randy and his sister Onika and with Colin. And so that moment when I spoke to her, it was time that she had to know that Randy and I were twins and that Colin and I were a part of this, journey. And it has to do with God and what we're here for on a grand scale, that he's the Moses and I am Queen Nefertiti and I am the goddess Isis and, and he's Beethoven. It's just so huge. And I've had to come into so much acceptance with all of this. And then, sometimes I felt like, God, is there anyone that will understand this fully and also be in my corner, And so that person has been Colin and it has been Brenda. But I guess now God has me where I am to go deeper into things and to talk about this. And so ironically today, or I should say yesterday, I said, okay, I'm gonna leave some space for whatever is to happen next, give them space, but then I found out, lo and behold, that Brenda cut me off, and I'm like, okay, I will leave her alone completely. And but I said, no matter what time it has served in its season, I know that I've helped her quite a bit and she has helped me too. And I've helped her a lot. And no matter what happens, I still wish her the best, but I know that my highest and best has to be looked out now. And so how much energy had been focused on intensely with her almost every single day, God just separated it. So as far as Colin now, there is no separation with him in terms of energetically, at least, because his name was popping up all over the place in the weirdest ways. And the one that I say, what we say in Jamaica, beat cockfight, is I'm driving on the highway in the rain and there I see his name, Collins, and then 333 above it. And I've been seeing 333 all day. And then of course I saw 111, 1111. Oh my God. And I said, wow, you're really thinking about me deeply, because there's not much difference with his thoughts on me and Randy's thoughts on me. It's just about every day. And I know when anyone is thinking about me, and it's strong and it's intense, But in either case, I wanted to explain and talk about this because the Holy Spirit says it's time for me to talk about it even more, to explain what this journey is leading us to, as far as myself, with my twin and my divine complement, and for the whole world. That there is going to be more surrendering to God and to all of this. That things may not necessarily be what we think it to be. The soul is going to be doing whatever it wants to happen for the timing and what is to happen for each and every person. Okay? You cannot stop what the soul is up to, or where you're being placed or where you're being guided to. See, when the time is right, the soul will come together to bring that divine union. And so each time that there's something that was clearing between Colin and I is when we had physical contact. And then we'll either talk, communicate, see each other, and then there's space, and that's what's been happening. And the beautiful thing is that it's still a separation. It still may have appeared like what you call I forgot what is it called again, running, but it's not running and chasing. It's not like that. But definitely I've had dark night of the soul to do with him. I've had that. So I had it in double whammy, as one would say. And I've been having a lot of dreams to do with him and also Rondi, but never with the two of them together, but definitely separately. And so even my mom has come to me in a dream, and I had a dream to do with him and also Rondi, all at the same time in the same day. And I was like, wow, there was a lot of stuff clearing out. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember what day it was. I also had been going through like flu symptoms, throat infection, ear infection, and all of this is a part of the Ascension. So all of this has been affecting me all at the same time. I had to find a way to get antibiotics, even though I have no insurance coverage, but thank God, God is taking care of me. I've had so much miracles and manifestations of things happening that some of the stuff I can't even describe it. The blessing of being in my home and my vehicle, phones, computer crashing, cases. It's just so many things. And every time I've come into contact with Colin, another thing I wanted to also mention is like something that most people may not realize. When you're with your divine complement and or your twin, you create and manifest a lot of miracles, a lot of blessings. There's something that comes from the frequency of being with someone that is connected to you. Things start to work out. And then also when you're in love, things start to work out. I always talk about that all the time. When you are in love, things start to work out magnanimously. It really does. Powerfully. It's very powerful. And, I told this to Colin. I told him, I said, do you know that every time I come into contact with you, something magical starts to happen, miraculously. And so I know that this divine union, as it comes closer and closer, and when I say closer and closer, you see, the union involves not only Rondi and Colin, but it involves my children and those who are in my circle as well. My children are even having high conscious conversations with me, and me explaining about my twin flame journey and what it means, because the children are also affected when it comes to the Ascension. And so my body is has been going through an upgrade. And so as I'm going through the upgrade, Rondi is also going through an upgrade. Colin is going through an upgrade. When I was feeling sick, Colin was feeling sick. So I know if Colin was feeling sick, Rondi was feeling sick. Something with the throat, something with the ear. So, just something. Every single time. Easter Sunday, I decided, oh my God, I can't take my garage anymore, how it looks. And so I told the kids, we're going to be cleaning out this basement garage. And so I did a huge spring cleaning in the basement garage. And what happened? I find out Colin was doing the same thing where he works in the garage. He did some spring cleaning because I was like, oh, everything's cleaned out. And I'm like, this is just amazing. So you see, we really do mirror each other, myself, my twin, and my divine complement. You really do have the same energetic feeling does occur with your divine complement, or someone who is a very close match to your twin, Okay, they could even look like each other. They could even act like each other. They could like the same things you do. They probably could even have the same habits that you have as well. That's another thing that you will know. It's important to understand that everyone that you are in contact with, even if it's not a divine complement, they are an aspect of your twin. Yes, they are. And they're here to help you on your path and your journey to where you are heading, your own personal soul evolution. You see? So no matter what, we all fit as pieces to each other's puzzle. There's just some that there's a stronger energy that exists between some. Because if we let go of the labels of twin flame and twin soul and, you know, divine complement, all that, in the end, the ultimate thing is that we are aligning with different aspects and different levels, different frequencies. Okay? And it trickles down and it trickles up, goes up as well, you see? Because every moment that we have together, as far as myself and Colin, you know, children, we go up, we come down, we go up again, we come down. And what happens is that we're going to reach to a point where not necessarily plateau, but we reach to a point where the third dimension will no longer exist. That's what we're heading back to, you see? And so the stripping of what is happening with the soul, because the soul is stripping off old concepts, old beliefs, and that means that it has to do with your beliefs when it comes to marriage, when it comes to your relationships, because there's some who they are looking at marriage as having control and power over someone, or that some people feel that they can't begin their journey unless they're divorced, even if they know they're already divorced emotionally and mentally from, their spouses, and they're still involved in karmic relationships, by living with the person or being with the person. There's some who are still attaching themselves to being in karmic relations because children are involved, and they don't want to because of the children. The child is going to be fine. It is healthier for you to separate yourself from that person if you know that you're not feeling having the best feeling within you to do with that person, especially if it's a control-based type of relationship, or it's a hate type of relationship, or it has to do with money, all these things, because all it does is it weighs you down. And that's also a block to your union. That's right. So we're being guided and led to step forward even more powerfully and more bolder for our best and our highest. No more procrastinating is what I'm hearing. And, one of the things that I've learned, when I say learned, mean that from what I've gathered, is in the midst of the uncomfortableness is where you are really testing yourself, on your true soul essence and what your soul desires, because it's not going to be where you're in a comfortable state where everything is in, working out perfectly, and then all of a sudden, that's when you come into union. No, the union comes through the uncomfortableness. The union comes through the chaos also, because you're going to have chaos and calmness at the same time. There is no perfection to coming into union. No one has to be in a perfect state of mind or in a perfect condition or a perfect cause. But the one thing I do know is that the more balanced you are within yourself is the more you are in coming into union. Remember, that harmony and union that you're creating is within yourself first. And then anyone else outside of you or anything else external, you will see it in your own reality. When you're seeing it in your own reality, then you will know how much more balanced you are becoming or have become. You see? And even another concept too I want to talk about is that I know some people think that, when you're with your twin and you come into this physical reunion, that all of a sudden everything is just nice and smooth. No, you're still clearing. You're still clearing stuff. It also depends on the level that, each person who is a twin has worked on themselves, on their fears, on their, their self-love, how much they've worked on, letting go of belief systems, and structures. You see, there's also some twins that are afraid to come in contact with their twins or divine complements because they feel they're not adequate enough, or they feel like, sometimes in some cases, the males, they feel like they can't offer anything to their divine counterparts in terms of money, or they think that they're not good enough, or they're not handsome enough, or they're not good looking enough. All these different things and stigmas is what is a block. And it's important to understand once again that what we've been taught growing up in most society, that you get an education, get a job, work hard, save your money, buy a house, get a car, have kids, live happily ever after. That's all bullshit. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Because most of the average person who's in a relationship right now is not living happily ever after. You know why? Because they're living a lie. They're not living authentically. They're not living authentically within themselves. They're basing their relationship on a condition or something they were taught, a belief system, a structure from either religion or culture or background or their families, friends, schools, government, all these things. There's just lies placed on top of more lies and more lies. And most people are afraid to speak up, afraid to leave that which doesn't serve them. They're afraid to move forward. They project things ahead of time, like, what if this goes wrong, or what if I'm not doing the right thing, or what if she leaves me, or what if she doesn't love me, or what if he goes back to his, it's all these different things. So much projection instead of just being. And so it's important to understand that being in the moment is what matters. Just being in the moment. Be and stay in the presence of now. See, did you hear the words I said? Being in the moment and the presence. It's two different presence here. Prescn. I hope I spell it right. Presence. I'm going to write it down. Prescence. And I was in a spelling bee too. And you also have presence. Presents. Presence, like gifts. The now moment. In the now. Everything's happening now. Heaven is now here. There is no waiting for heaven to come here. Heaven is already here. We already are in between both worlds. We already are. It's not a place to go. It's already here within us. So it's important also, I want to point out very much, because I'm talking about this also based on people that I'm in contact with, is be mindful of what you speak. Be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of your feelings that go behind with what you say. And, are you looking at it as an emotional thing? Are you looking at it from a linear view? Are you projecting? All these things. You see, because a lot of times people don't understand that when you speak something out there and then you're strong with it, with your feelings, you are already bringing it into manifestation. We're in a time energy continuum, a time energy space continuum of things happening rapidly, and the universe just captures it, what you want, and then boom, you just have it. You see, you have it, you'll experience it. You see, and then it just shows up, and it's showing up faster because right now time is speeding up so much, and the timelines are already crunching. You see, and that's why some of you might feel like you're in a pressure cooker, like you're being pressured with time and pressured with this and pressure to make choices, pressure to make a decision, because time is collapsing. And because time is collapsing, that energy is pushing you to make the choices that are for your best and your highest now, instead of waiting. You see, if you keep waiting for the right moment and the right conditions and the right time, then what's going to happen is your world is going to feel like and appear like it's continuously falling apart, or you feel discombobulated, like, oh my God, where am I? Who am I? What is this? What's going on here? I don't understand this. Oh, this is not making any sense to me. Oh, help me. Stuff like that. You feel like everything might be going wrong or haywire or crazy, or you feel unbalanced. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you're having Ascension symptoms, and you may not even understand that. think that you are going crazy. And you're not. You're not. So we're going through upgrades. We're going through upgrades with our bodies, minds, and souls. Our relationships are being upgraded. This is where it is time for you to know that you are on God's path of being with your spiritual partners. It's a partnership here. We're changing and we're on a new divine path of how we view ourselves as males and females. No more separation. Males do this and females do that, and a male is like this and a male, oh, he's a dog, oh, he's a motherfucker, oh, he's this, oh, he's a cheater, oh, she's cheating on me. The concept of cheating, that is also man-made based, and it is, it's a belief. Cheating is a belief system. It is. Because when you ascend higher, you will realize that the way you view it as cheating, it's not really cheating. You see? Now, I want to let you know, there is a difference between polyamory and polygamy. Polygamy is someone who wants to be married to several women, okay? And it's based on, that marriage rule that, I provide, the money, and she's going to just keep having sex and having babies and cook for me and all that stuff, and I have several wives, And polyamory is more where you are expressing and experiencing a high level of love for more than one person, and it's consensual between all of the parties involved. Now, I know you're saying, well, it's not consensual with you. No, it's not consensual right now in the physical, 2 out of 3, but eventually, as time goes on, this is where it's heading. And it doesn't matter, whether what I say, this is what God says. And I definitely know for myself that when the Holy Spirit shows it to me, I don't go against what's being shown to me, especially when I have physical evidence and signs and signposts and messages and dreams. And also, it would make sense because of who I am. I am a high, grand expression of love. And this love expands wide, high, and deep. So I wouldn't say I have more than one twin flame. I have one twin flame, and I have a divine complement. I have someone who is of a high level soulmate, high spiritual partnership. And he is a very strong aspect of my twin. He's a part of me. I'm a part of him. We're all a part of one another, than ever. And it doesn't necessarily tie itself to being in the same physical space either. So that's another thing. When it comes to the twin flame journey, remember, we're all heading back to a place where we'll be communicating telepathically with one another. We are also going to be merging with one another with not necessarily not having any more sexual organs, because our physical body is going to be changing. It's going to be changing where we are going to be more in our light body. Our light body is already integrating, or most of us integrating within the physical 3D body. Okay, you even start to see your skin is changing. You might break out, now and then, because that's been happening to me too as well. My skin, breaks out now and then. Or you might have some rashes. You might have ear aches, like I said, all these different symptoms and stuff. You might have itching on your crown of your head as well. Change in eating, my eating habits have changed quite a bit. And I don't have any desire to eat certain foods right now, So, but I always keep saying, listen to your body and listen to what your body is telling you. So you see, all of this is the process of what's happening with the soul. So it doesn't matter what your physical body will let you know what it needs. And it is for you to have a spiritual ear to listen. A spiritual ear to listen. You see, because the regular ears that we have, where it's saying, yeah, I hear that and I hear this, but there's also a spiritual ear, meaning that it's not necessarily based on something you read with your physical eye or something you heard physically, but that it's something etherically that you're listening to and hearing, coming from the Holy Spirit, coming from a spirit guide. Okay, this is a path to self-mastery. You become the master of your universe. And that means becoming a master of your universe means that you are stepping more into your power. You're letting go. You have let go of more patterns, belief systems, dogma, fear, who you should be, what you should look like, all these things. You're in your own sovereignty. You see, you are the ruler of your universe. And as we all head back into this space of sovereignty, this is where we're all even grander on this path of freedom. And that means that we are allowing ourselves to be in expression of love, no matter which way it shows up. So some of you might still be battling with your twins when it comes to religion, when it comes to how you dress, when it comes to whether this one wants their hair to be this way or not, or what you're in agreement or not. It could be so many different factors. There's some who have age differences, huge age differences, 20 something, but it doesn't matter because the soul is of one age. It's ageless. And so it doesn't matter if one is younger or older than the other. It doesn't matter if one is living in one country or the other. It doesn't matter if one is from two different religious backgrounds. It doesn't matter if one has something that is different than the other, because twins are here to demonstrate the yin and the yang. We are the yin and the yang. We are the similar and the opposite. The polarities, the polarities is what exists. And that means that even if one is, I would say, has a different point of view about something, because there could be a set of twins, where you have a point of view about something and the other one has a different point of view. And then we say, well, how can we give each other the respect and the honor in the fact that we see things differently, in the fact that we may not agree on something, but we still love one another unconditionally, you see, and that we still allow each person the space to express themselves, to express themselves. And at the same time that you're not going to be a crutch for someone, because there's some people who continue to want to be dependent on someone and looking for someone to save them. And there is no saving of someone saving you. You save yourself, okay, darlings? Because I've known that for myself. You save yourself. You save yourself. If you trust and believe and know that God is going to be there for you, through every single thing. And remember that aspect of yourself as God is what's saving you, because you are gods and goddesses, you see. So the microcosmic aspect of God, which is you, is being guided through the macrocosmic aspect of God, which is the universe, the all there is. And remember, the universe is very vast. It's not just one universe. Did you know that there are universes among universes among universes? It is endless. It is timeless. It is ageless, you see. So there's so much what I call views, and there's so much perception of so many things out there. You gotta ask yourself this question. The moment you speak, the moment you feel, the moment you have a thought, before you say it, speak it, feel it, ask yourself, where is it taking you? And based on your feelings, what are you going to do about it? And who are you going to be with the doing? Because you see, that's where the balancing comes in again. And you see, when you are at a place, okay, whether you're a twin or not, doesn't matter, where you can evaluate yourself and you can, I would say, look at what it is that you are experiencing and what is it telling you, and then who you decide to be through that experience, right? Who are you deciding to be? And once you are allowing yourself to decide who you are allowing yourself to be, that is another path to true self-mastery. And that means that you're not judging yourself, you're not judging, someone else or anything to that sort. You're actually allowing yourself to understand, evaluate yourself, heal yourself, and embrace it and move through it. You see? And accept. There's an acceptance here. There are a lot of times some of us choose not to want to accept what is. And that even if one person's journey is not the same as yours, it's okay. That's a part of freedom. That's a part of also using wisdom and say, hey, do you not think that God is going to have more than one way to experience love? You know, the Holy Spirit showed me it was 2015 when I was having huge downloads. And this was way before I even thought of any concept of having two men in my life, okay? And what was shown to me is that there were different types of Garden of Edens. One Garden of Eden was 2 males, 1 female, 2 females, 1 male, female, female, male, male, and 3 females or 3 males. You see that? 3 different several ways with 3 different prototypes. And at that time, I didn't understand, but just because I saw it in spirit, I didn't negate it and say, nah, fuck this shit, this is bullshit. I didn't say, can you tell me what this means? Because I rather know that someone else saw it, and, I saw it, but someone else saw it, so I can validate it, so I know that I was right with it. No. What I said at the time is, I wonder what this is. And so when the Holy Spirit answers me back and say, you will find out in due time, I let it go. And then it comes up again at another time in a different way. And I was like, but what more does this mean? And so what happened is I ended up meeting someone at a twin flame seminar, and he happened to have been involved with someone as a male, but then his twin flame template is a female. And I told him, I said, I feel you're going to end up being with the female, even though other people were saying that it was a guy, or I said a guy too, I said it could be both, because like I said, it becomes a choice. There's some who may decide not to be with their twin and to just have the twin flame experience with a higher soulmate. There's some who may decide they want to be with their twin, and that, remember, it still becomes a choice between the individuals. You see, ultimately, everyone is still going to come into union. It may happen in the 3rd dimensional space, or it may not happen until the higher dimensional space, meaning as we evolve more and more and more as time goes on and we are in new bodies. Okay, remember, the new bodies is still going to be a part of the body we have now, but more of the light body that we have. You see, because we're really going to be shedding off so much stuff, even more than we thought. Remember, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of lifetimes. It's a lot of stuff. And what comes in wonderful is if you and your twin or your divine counterpart or anyone that you're interacting with on this soul journey, where they're able to see and say, oh my God, I'm experiencing some clearing here or purging or something that's affecting me, whether it's physically with your body or emotionally, and you make an assessment and say, hey, you know what? Okay, we're probably taking some time out right now, but I know that there's something from a higher level that's happening here, and I'm not going to hold grudges, and I'm not going to fight against anything, and I'm going to move and roll with the punches. See, that even if Holy Spirit separates you for the moment, that you know in your heart of hearts that something of a higher level is going on here. You see, even if it's painful. And so that part of your life, as I would say, the self-mastery is the key thing, because this is how all of us will be coming into, as I said before, into our sovereignty and as true self-masters, as Yeshua did when he walked the planet. And that each one of us are going to be at a place where we reach Hyros Gamos as far as twin souls. Okay, and this Hyros Gamma stage is what I call the ultimate nirvana. This is where I call it the glory of God shines upon us. The glory of God is unfolded and manifesting through each and every one of us. That means we'll be at a place where things are manifested even more powerfully than before. This is where you start to see the energy of God happening in the physical world, and it's not just metaphysically. See, because I'm already starting to see God's manifestation unfold in front of me, and the reason is because I'm open, and because I'm at a place where I have evolved even more than ever before. And so, and I don't hold on to any expectations about anything. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, shit, it could even happen where I'm just in union with myself, you know, and it's okay. Or I could be in union with just Colin and Rondi energetically, or I'll be physically with the two of them and energetically at the same time. So I don't hold any set pattern to what it can be or will be. That's the key thing that I'm trying to communicate to each and every one of you. You see, because if it bothers you or it gets you upset because you hear me say that, then that is how much more you know there is for you to release as far as conditions and expectations. You know, I was reading something, I should say last night or early this morning, and it was an article from Love Has Won, and it has to do with the Ascension, and it has to do with the Ascension to do with twin flames and what it means, you know. So I want to read it and share it with you, because like I said, I love giving more than one information, because it shows that I am aligning with everything with what I'm speaking. It means that it's being validated. So this is from Love Has Won, and it says, welcome to Love Has Won. We are here as humanity's team and mirrors of love. So together we can bring back unity and peace to this planet and return to our natural state. Remember, I said this is us returning to our natural state. This is happening right now. Unity has always been here and is now and ever will be. Unity consciousness with the unified heart, which is true. We're heading back into a space of unity consciousness. And that means that when it comes to being as a twin flame, this unity consciousness is extended out to others. It's not where, oh, I'm in union and only with my twin, and I'm only going to be with my twin and be happily ever after. No, this is about also how much are you able to be in unity and unison with others. Even if you have similarities and differences, okay? How can you work things out? How can you honor each other for what you may or may not believe in until all the belief system is completely gone? Where you're not attaching yourself to belief systems. You're not attaching yourself to outcomes. You're not attaching yourself to the money. You're not attaching yourself to your job. You're not attaching yourself to your children. Yes, even your children. Yes, you're responsible for your children, but guess what? God takes care of everything all the time. It never is not. It always is. Okay, so the article is called Special Message from Archangel Michael, Twin Flame Unions, Unconditional Love is the Key. And this is by lovehaswon.org. And so the article is by Archangel Michael, channeled April 23rd, 2017. Greetings, dear ones. I have come to assist in raising the collective consciousness with information about the twin flame unions. The energies are here for such grand unions, or shall I say reunions. Now, there has been much mis and disinformation about the twin flames and how does one attract such a powerful energy. The twin flame energy is one of the most powerful energies in the multiverse, omniverse, and all of creation. These are love and the unknowable creator energies. It is by divine decree that these unions come to fruition for those who are ready. Let us delve deeper into the twin flame energies and how they will assist in our beloved Gaia's ascension. As always, awareness transforms into consciousness. In other words, as you allow yourself to become more aware, what you're doing is you're transforming yourself even more, transformation into even more into this consciousness of God, okay, through the heart. The more you allow yourself to be aware. Key thing. History of the twin flames and their roles. In the beginning, the very beginning of creation, love and unknowable came together and created mother of all creation, prime creator, the Holy Spirit, our mother. Mother of creation wished to create and express creation. Love mirroring love. She then created father of all creation from her heart. This is what many know to be the image of God. Twin souls, a balanced harmonic of feminine and masculine energies, created in the image of both mother and father. They both created the first fractal, which sparked and created the first 144,000 original twin flames, which all other fractals were created from divine intelligence. The Fibonacci fractal, God fractal, the original keys of creation, in which we are all now returning to. We call this the Garden of Eden, or pure balanced harmonics. No coincidence. No coincidence at all that this book is called The Return of the Garden of Eden. So you see how everything synchronizes to where the Holy Spirit has guided me to the name of this book and to where it is leading each and every one of us as souls. This is per Mother Earth to Heart's request, which again is being honored right now. Humanity or illusion is not in control of this. We re-heart you, dear ones. We are in the great shift. The programmed ego mind will simply not make it through. The reason for the twin flame unions is to assist in restoring the planet to its original state, the Garden Eden. See, and that's why I said the book called The Return of the Garden of Eden. And hey, this is the message. You see how everything synchronizes. The twin flames are to help bring forth the age of innocence. Planet Earth was created, and I want you to understand the age of innocence is us coming back into that space of purity where there's no corruption, there is no dogma, fear, or any of these programming stuff that has taken place on the planet with the media, the government, and all these different types of things, what they're doing, the foods and all these things. Okay, everything is returning back to its natural state, and anything that is hidden will and continue to come to light. Planet Earth was created originally as the primary Garden of Eden, a place where love having experiences in the physical, a place where love mirrors love in truth. It is service to our beloved Mother Earth Gaia, to love that attracts the twin flame energies. As one dissolves the ego program mind, one is able to anchor in higher consciousness. Hear that again. As one dissolves the ego program mind, one is able to anchor in higher consciousness and bring forth the soul. That's right, your soul. Your soul comes in even more in its individuality to who and what part of God you are as this soul, okay? Because we're all expressing different aspects of God through our souls, okay? And some of us are on different frequencies with this, and it's okay even if we're all not on the same frequency, because it's all synchronizing together. It says here, there the energies are ignited to attract the twin flame energies and guidance of one's soul mission and roles for the new earth. In truth, dear ones, it is about your inner work, your inner healing. It is by divine decree that these unions come to fruition for those who are ready, those who have chosen the heart. It is by divine decree, per the divine plan and divine intervention occurring on planet Earth, heart at this time. As all of creation has responded to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Prime Creator, Great Spirit, to be released from bondage into freedom. Ah, see that? And now I didn't even know the article was going to say this. I didn't even recall. But that's what it is. You are releasing yourself from bondage into freedom. That means you're releasing yourself from the bondage of everything that has been held in humanity for such a long time. I.e., I say, the minute you say the words, I have to do this, or I have to, you're in bondage. You're back in jail. There is no freedom. The minute you allow yourself to be in a relationship that is no longer serving, where you're going home and you're not happy, you're unhappy, you're sad, you feel uncomfortable, or you're going to a job that you're unhappy and you're sad and you're uncomfortable. The worst thing in the world is coming home to unhappiness and going to work in unhappiness. You cannot imagine what that's doing for the soul. And then in your heart of hearts, there might be someone on your mind that you're really truly connected to, but you're not taking the steps towards that. You're not even allowing yourself to experience it, to experience that part of joy that is by right yours, because of that, by right of your consciousness. The natural state for human beings is to be in joy. You're not supposed to suffer. That's a programmed condition. You're not supposed to struggle. You're not supposed to be in fear. You're supposed to be in joy. But of course, the opposite will exist for you to remember who you are. That is what we're up to here. So I'm going to go further into what I'm reading. In truth, dear ones, it is about your inner work and your inner healing. It is by divine decree that these unions come to fruition for those who are ready, those who have chosen the heart. It is by divine decree, per the divine plan and divine intervention occurring on planet Earth equals heart at this time. as all of creation has responded to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Prime Creator, Great Spirit, to be released from bondage into freedom, which I read already, and bring forth the co-creation of the new stories. See that? We're creating new stories. And then again, get out of the old stories and stop talking about the old stories. Stop talking about all the stuff that you've been through already, and just stay in the now, stay in the present moment. Enjoy the moment and create new moments and new stories, okay? Build on something solid as a rock instead of the sinking sand. Okay. Now, it says here, it is by divine decree per the divine plan and divine intervention occurring on planet Earth, hard time, as all of creation has responded to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Prime Creator, Great Spirit, to be released from bondage into freedom and bring forth the co-creation of the new story. The new Earth where all dreams of love come true, the unity consciousness, all is one. All dreams come true, okay? So you can and will get the desires of your heart. But as it says in the biblical scriptures, okay, I'm going to bring some scriptures in now. Ye must be born again. Okay, and it doesn't mean that you're going to go back in your mother's womb. What you are doing is you're in the womb of creation right now. You're in Mother Gaia's womb right now. And she's giving birth to more and more of her children in a new way. You're being reborn, okay? And you can try kicking and screaming all you want, but you're still going to be reborn. One way or another. It's either you're going to be reborn in your physical body or when you're outside of your body, okay? And being cleansed and purified and coming back into oneness and remembering yourself as the oneness and remembering yourself of your divinity, remembering yourself as kings and queens and rising in your power. Please, kings and queens, rise in your power. That's what was shown to me in the beginning from the Holy Spirit, is that queens especially, rise to your power, rise to your divinity. Remember who you are, powerful goddesses. You see, and when you do that, remember that's how your masculine also, I would say, is connected to you and also will do the same thing. You see, that's how things come into balance. If they're sitting and waiting and saying, oh, well, the man is supposed to do this and the man is supposed to do that, then you're going to keep sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting. Okay. And I'm not saying all the time that you're to do something physically. It's a matter of coming into balance with whatever you may do physically and then what you may do spiritually. In other words, what are your connections? What are your signposts? What are your signs that you're receiving energetically from the spirit realm? Okay, what are your dreams telling you? What is coming up for healing? What is coming up for you to look at? Because, you know, it could be, the list could be on and on for a lot of variety of things. You know, there's some twins who are affected because their twin is getting married. Okay, so what are your views on marriage? Okay, because I feel that's the reason why some twins are getting married. It has to do with a view on, what is your view on marriage, whether it's a male or female getting married. Also, some twins are having babies, you know, and just know that the baby that the twin is having is your baby. Seriously. Someone else might be giving birth to that baby, but that baby is still a part of you. It is coming from your soul essence as well. A lot of times I've heard stories where twins' children do take on the features, the personality, and the physical characteristics of the twin soul. That's right. That's in physical incarnation. So, another example of some things as far as viewpoints and perspectives that comes up for healing is views on cheating or views on marriages, in terms of what a marriage should be like. And look at, because, you know, the marriage is man-made, but there is a spiritual marriage, which is of the most utmost highest aspect, is the spiritual marriage, more than the physical marriage that was created by mankind. Okay, because it's not supposed to be where you're in bondage. Okay, this is where you're in your freedom, but you're still honoring each other and you're working together in partnership with things. Okay, in partnership, and no control and power over anyone, or one gender is better than the other, or that the man is the one who's supposed to go to work and come home and she's the no. You can interchange chores. You know, who says that it's only a woman that is supposed to cook? You know, there are males who cook as well, and also there's things that are changed in terms of how we dress as well, you know, and that's how each person is within their freedom of how they choose to dress. Whether or not, who says that a male is supposed to shave? You know, what if you don't want to shave, or what if you do want to shave and you want to do your eyebrows, or you want to have your hair long or short, or you know, women, as far as, you know, whether we want to be in our bathing suits or no suit at all, you know, it's just so much different things that are breaking down. A lot of views are breaking down. You know, who says that when one covers themselves up, that is how you're to be a lady, you cover yourself up? Who said that? Who made up those rules? Okay. As far as our sexuality, to understand what our sexuality is. I know I came right off topic, you know, because I was reading the article, but you know, this is how the Holy Spirit does things. I will just keep talking and bringing on everything to what there is to come up for healing and to look at, because a lot of us are facing a lot of things that we are holding as far as our principalities and belief systems and structures, and that is what a part of what may be affecting your union. Okay, jealousy also plays a part in some twin flame dynamics that also can be a block to union. You know, where does it come from? You know, what part of it that you're feeling jealous about, that you're feeling deprived of thinking that there isn't enough to go around? Because sometimes people who bring on an energy of jealousy, you know, there's enough of everything to go around. There's enough love, there's enough money. You know, money does grow on trees, you know, and love is grand and love is wonderful. And for you to say, I will never be in love again, or I don't believe in love, then that's what you're creating. Okay, but if you believe in love and you know that there is love, if you believe in kissing, hugging, touching, feeling, and being in a high energy sexual field, then that's what you shall receive. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, also how we're healing when it comes to intimacy, you know, and how we view our bodies, being able to be open with one another and speaking freely with one another, expressing love and being able to say I love you, and not feeling that you have to hear it back in return, or that you have to be validated about this love based on what your twin does or says. What are you feeling inside? How do you feel? Because that feeling connection with the heart is what tells you how that person feels about you, that you don't have to have validation. Okay, you don't have to have the text return right away or the phone call right away, or that you know, yeah, they say, yeah, action speaks louder than words. Yeah, action does speak louder than words, of course it does. But what are your feelings telling you though? You know, what are the eyes telling you? What are you feeling inside? And what part of you can heal from it? Or what part of you can move forward? You know, because sometimes we can say, well, you know what, it is what it is. Are you going to keep holding on to it? Or are you going to move forward? What are you going to change about what you don't like? You know, not changing the person, but what are you accepting? What are you willing to change about yourself, so that way maybe you'll have another outcome from that person because you changed something within you? What have you let go of? What are you holding on to? What are you holding on to that you should? You know, there's some who let go too much and not holding on. And there's some who hold on too much and not letting go. And the letting go doesn't mean that you're giving up. But then again, the part of you might feel like you want to give up. And that's normal because you're human. But how much are you giving up? Try not to give up too much if you don't have to. You know, the light is at the far, 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 far and close by tunnel. And, you know, the one thing I can tell you is it may appear as if everything is falling apart, because that's the way it is. Everything must fall apart in order for it to come back together again. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Humpty Dumpty didn't have anybody to help him. But if it wasn't for the king's horses and king's men, Humpty Dumpty would not have come back together again. So in that part of the story, we all are here. We're all gathered here together in this holy matrimony. As you see what I read from the article, right? That we are coming back to God's desire. This is Mother God's desire. This is her desire. She's the prime creator, the great spirit. Okay, the freedom. That's what the feminine represents, you know, freedom, because she moves freely. She's in her total essence of freedom and joy and expression. She opens herself up wide. Okay, because if we didn't open ourselves wide, then how would we receive? And we open ourselves wide to receive from the masculine, so that way we can bring on something to give birth into creation. And this giving birth and what we are creating are so many things that we're creating here, because you could be creating a baby, you could be creating a career, you could be giving birth to a new home, a passion that you have, more freedom, being in the wilderness, being in love, being on a mountaintop. There's so much things that comes into creation just by being in love and making love. Making love is the grandest, greatest, absolute highest expression of ourselves. the natural state, and being in worship with God. You see? So I have so many segments that I will be, I don't know what point, but I will be going into even more details when it comes to sacred sex and what it means, and this divine worship and what it means to be in that expression, and what it does for your body, mind, and soul, how it rejuvenates the cells of your body, and how we will be viewing sex differently and intimacy differently, because intimacy is not necessarily involve sex. Intimacy also may involve just looking into each other's eyes, a touch, sitting on his or her lap. It could mean just looking, looking at each other, in terms of our soul. When you look into someone's eyes and you see in their, they say the eyes is the window of the soul. Or it could even mean what you're speaking very closely with that person, and you are letting out everything to how you feel. That's intimate. That's an intimate moment. It could be a candlelight dinner. It could be a bath together. It could be feeding each other. There's so much different ways and levels of intimacy with another, and intimacy does not necessarily would be expressed with just couples. It could be, maybe intimacy can even involve with a friend. It can involve with, and I'm not saying, I'm going to take a bath with my friend. No, what I'm talking about is being able to express yourself openly and being in the presence of someone, and you're very open and raw and comfortable, and yet still at the same time, it's between you and that person or persons, okay? And that's a form of intimacy as well. That means that you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable, okay, in a vulnerable state, that it's not going to make you feel uncomfortable or feel like, oh, if I open myself up too much, they might leave me, or they might not like me anymore. It's where you are comfortable enough in your own power and being vulnerable at the same time. It's like you're strong and vulnerable at the same time, to open yourself up to that person and telling them that you love them without any fear. And not thinking that whether or not they say it back to you, that all that matters is that you're expressing love, and even if you don't say the words, but you're just looking into that person's eyes and they can feel it coming from your heart. That's a form of intimacy as well. Touching each other, hugging each other is a form of intimacy. Kissing, tongue kissing. Oh my God, the most beautiful expression of intimacy that one could ever have. And it's in a different category when it comes to, the penetrating type of sex. And it just brings it to a whole different level, because, you're exchanging something with that person. You're exchanging energy. You're exchanging body fluids. You're exchanging, an expression of love in a different way. And you see, all of this part of ourselves is where it comes into a space of, I would say, connecting to one another, you see. And I tell you, the more we connect to one another, is the stronger this bond is with each and every one of us, you see. And I know that the one thing that remains sacred and remains, I would say, where it's not for everyone to have to know, is the intimate sacred sex that exists between the parties that are involved, okay? And the one thing I know is that, which I said it before, I said, imagine if the whole world was making love. What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if every soul was making love? You see, all the bullshit would fall off. All the bullshit would go away. So remember that the magic comes within ourselves. And that magic that comes within ourselves, it moves something into an energy of creation. And that which is being created, it comes and it moves outwardly into physical manifestation without doing anything sometimes. Okay, because it's an energy that's flowing between each person. You see, it's flowing, and it's not blocked anymore. It's almost like having a clogged artery or a clogged toilet. And once you remove the obstacle or the things that clog it up, then what happens? It flows freer, right? It's not stuck. It's not staying in one place. and you feel heavy and downtrodden. Remember I gave the example of the stones. You know, you have the 10 stones on one side and then one on the other. And when you allow yourself to come into balance with life, and to balance with your thoughts, into balance with your views, into balance with your feelings, into balance with the time that you spend in communion with yourself and with God and with your divine partner. All of this is important as far as for each and every one of us, and how we can propel and move forward into a greater conscious society, okay, and a conscious world. Is taking the time and devoting to sacred sex. That's right. Because you see, I have a lot of memory of this back in Egypt, where it was 4 or 5 times a day. See? And it's almost like being like a spin top, as I said. And being in that expression is what is the genie in the genie in the bottle. Excuse me, it's the genie in the basket. Genie in the bottle. See? It's a powerful, powerful force. You see? And think about that. That powerful energy and force, when it creates a baby, right? The seed and the egg and the sperm that comes together, and then what's created so beautifully in expression becomes what? The third energy. You see? So no matter what, twin souls, they create a third energy. See? They create a third energy. And that third energy is that force that's coming together in individual aspects in every single corner of the earth. And this is what is helping all of us and the planet to ascend even more into love. So I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to finish reading the article now, because I know how much I get so passionate about this, because it feels so good, because I remember all of this and I know what it takes for us to be at that place, you see. And I miss it. It's like, if I could have this every day, it's like, this is the food that I love, is the love food. I love the feeling of love, the expression of love. It's just such a grand experience. And when we have it all the time, we don't have to feel that we're craving for it, because the average person is not staying and allowing themselves to feel it continuously, to be on the path continuously of feeling in love. There's always more discussion about wars and crimes and hatred and dividing and separation, instead of staying and remaining and being in unity with one another, you see. And then imagine if we're in unity with one another and we're in love at the same time. Oh my God, what a wonderful world this will be. And that's where we're heading to. And this is for those who choose to be on that path, you see. And that's where we're. And you can't just, I wouldn't say you can't, but if you say, oh, I'm going to work on this next week. No, it's happening now. There's no waiting on this. It's happening now. So it's important to know that and to realize that. How much more are you self-realizing all of this? How much more of the self are you focusing on and having this worship and communion with God? Because you see, the days of when we're just focused on the physical things of the world is what's coming to an end, because once you don't have all the physical things which you have, we are going to still have the physical things that we desire, because it's a part of the desires of our heart, but there won't be so much emphasis on it, because true wealth is about having all of it, okay? And that means that we're not dragged down and aging and old and gray and miserable and mundane, get up, go to work, go to school, whatever, and you're tired and then there's no room for love. No, this is where we're making room for love all the time, and we're in our joy with what we love to do. We're in our joy with our careers. We're in our joy with where we are at home with our families. We're in our joy with where we work. We're in our joy with wherever we go and whoever we are. That is the key. That's the key. So I'm going to finish reading this. What it says here. The twin flame fantasy of the mind. We have observed much of the collective still and deep fantasy of the twin flames. The mind created many of these fantasies, being that the mind knows nothing about twin flame unions or the ascension. It created many fantasies of what this union is, thinking that it is relationship relating to 3D and 4D concepts, simply because that is all it knows. A very deep form of ignorance. Many of you have had such experiences of ignorance when seeking advice to discussing about a topic that is foreign to the people you are engaging with. There would be one that thinks they know what you're talking about, yet has absolutely no experience in the matter. Yet their minds think they know something. The same example applies with the mind and the twin flame. We would like to reheart all. The twin flames are a union of energies of the soul. This is not a relationship. See that? It is not a relationship. It's a union of the energies. Because you see, whatever the soul desires to come into this union, the physical part is last. So it says, how does one know a 5D union when one has never had such an experience, yet claim they know or are in a 5D relationship? The union of the twin flame is that of the heart. You see, the heart is coming together in one body of Christ, this Christ consciousness. You see, that is what the union is. And you see, once most of us are in our high heart, elevating, free, carefree, like a child, in love, feeling beautiful, and everything's just so grand and beautiful, you know, and it's long lasting. It's not where it's temporary anymore, you know, where we're going up and down the scales and experiencing these dichotomies and polarities here. No, this is where we're staying in complete blissfulness, like how it is on the other side. Okay, it says a heart-based companionship which the mind can never enter or mimic. You know, you got to be out of your mind to be in this kingdom of heavenliness, you see. Separation and wholeness of being. There are many light workers that think they are not whole without their twin flame. This is a belief construct created by the mind. Prime creator, mother of all creation, the Holy Spirit creates in wholeness, beauty, balance, and unconditional love. All were and are created in the essence of unconditional love. You have always been whole. It is the mind that creates separation, imbalance, and dysfunction. One cannot be just about the self and attract the twin flame energies. This would be a complete contradiction. As one in service to self and all others in love. This attracts the twin flame again. No one can bring forth, let alone find your twin flame. Those that claim that this are false light workers, thinking they are assisting in the ascension, when the opposite is true. Devices, parlor tricks, or rituals will not assist in attracting such powerful energies. Only heart-centered energies, being in the present moment of now, magical sync events, and balanced harmonics of the being may attract this powerful, real energy of the soul. We reheart you. We can assist in your inner healing. If you're still conditioned with unworthiness, lack of self-love, lack of trust, validation, expectations, self-importance, judgment, loneliness, jealousy, lust, codependency, wanting to be saved, controlling, power over, and more, then you're blocking the energies of the twin flame. If you're having issues in your current relationship, then we suggest looking in the mirror. You're being offered the opportunity to grow, to transform, let go of all that no longer serves you, and move forward in the heart. Unconditional love is the key. In truth, dear ones, only the heart knows and remembers the twin flame union. When one receives dreams or feelings of the twin flame, this is the heart speaking moments of remembrance. As always, dear ones, this has been about your inner journey. The twin flame energies is included with the inner journey. Seeking outside of yourself would be the same as seeking love outside. A conditioning of the old paradigm. It has always been within. It is through unconditional love of oneself that is the key. This begins and ends with the heart. Your divinity, your gifts, your very essence has always been in the heart. The magic, the miracles, the childlike essence, and so much more. See, that's what I said. The magic, the miracles. I said this before I read this. You see that? And so the childlike essence and so much more has always been there, waiting to be harnessed and embraced. It is up to you to choose the heart and let go of all the mind. That is ultimate freedom. You see? And I'm going to go on further. She says, dear ones, be loved, feel love, act in love. Always shine your light and allow love to flow through you. Let go of control, the old energies, the mind, and be free. We honor your choices and are there for you in all moments in unconditional love, in unity consciousness with our Mother and Father of all creation. We will await your glorious return into the golden age, the age of Aquarius. That's right. And I am an Aquarian, and I am the one that says that I'm going to break through a lot of these paradigms and lead the way and light the way for others who choose to want to understand more about themselves and coming back into this oneness, into this new age, this new time. The children of the heart inherit the earth. Get into your hearts as the gifts of the new earth heart await you, for love has won. I am Archangel Michael, always of service to love, to humanity, to all creation, to Mother and Father of all creation. Love fearlessly and always unconditionally. Blessings and namaste. Your eternally loving brother, Archangel Michael. And I can say that, even on the Instagram today, I posted my little picture and I said, you know what, I'm free. And I shifted my thoughts about how I was feeling with Colin not calling me and Brenda cutting me off, and she's not communicating with me. And I won't look at it again as a lesson. I look at it as what is showing up in my space for me to look at what I'm perceiving and how I'm feeling and where it places me right now as I am ascending even higher. And so I said, well, no matter what, I'm going to stay in my truth, and I'm going to speak truth, and I'm also going to stay in love. Nothing changes how I feel about Colin, because I love him. Nothing changes how I feel about Brenda, because I love her too, regardless of what is happening. And you know what? I love Sharon too. I love her so much. And so I find myself, and I can't leave out my beloved Rondi. I love him too. He's with me all the time. And I know that whatever I'm doing with working within myself, that it is also working within him. And that he's still watching, he's watching and observing just like me. But I'm observing and being and doing too. And so is he. Whatever I do, he's doing it too in a different way. And the same thing with Colin. So, you know what? Time is moving and propelling things forward even more. And no matter what, the truth prevails. Because this truth is beauty, and this beauty is truth. And so I allowed myself to feel even more freer. And I'm feeling more freer because I've let go even more. I've surrendered even more. And, if it wasn't for this happening, I probably would not have recorded this segment, or I probably would not have looked at things even more deeper. Not that deep, but just in another perspective. And I feel Spirit was pushing me to finally do a segment. So, whatever number this is, segment this is, it's okay. There's so much to talk about, and there's so much to express. And it's time for us to be in a space, especially the females who are carrying feminine energy, to be in a space of receiving. Okay? Receiving. To allow yourselves to receive love in its grandest way, not waiting, not judging what you're seeing in front of you. It's that part of taking action, whether it's in a spiritual sense or a physical sense. You know what you've been doing more or less of. And if you're being guided to do something, do it. If you're being pulled to do something, say something, do it. Okay? Every moment that you take to listen to what you're being guided to do is what pulls you closer to yourself, right? And as you pull yourself closer to yourself in terms of your soul, then the physical part comes last. See? Now, when I said what I said about 10 minutes ago, the physical comes, last. I wasn't even thinking about twin flame dynamic, you see? And now I'm saying, oh shit, now I know why Spirit had me say that. Now I know why the Holy Spirit had me say that. Because a lot of times there's so many people worrying about whether they're going to come into union with their twins, or let me tell you something. I also deal with logic and common sense, okay? Me love common sense, I'm going to speak pato now. And when I talk about common sense, is that we're in the end times with new beginnings. And that means that almost every soul is going to have the desire of their heart, okay? And there is no special formula, special time, but of course what I read to you here, that if you still have these conditioned, lack of trust, need to have things validated, judging things, feeling lonely and saying, oh, I'm lonely, having the jealousy feelings and the lust and codependent, and you feel like you gotta see this person or hear from this person, whatever, or you need something from that, whatever the case. That codependent energy is what will push things away. Okay. And so when you allow yourself to align with everything, okay, and go with the flow, even if you think you plan to do something tomorrow, that might change, okay? And that means that something might change away from what you think may happen. That's what happened to me on Saturday. It's like the whole thing just went the whole freaking another direction. I was like, what is this? Oh my God. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be processing now. So I had to process through all of that, even though it didn't make any sense because of what I saw in my physical world. It's like, I'll see you at 5:30. You see what I'm saying? So either way, no matter what happens, no matter what is said by the person, even if they said it and that's not what they wanted to say, that is still God on purpose. Even if they take some action of doing something or not doing something and it affects you, that is God on purpose to what is happening and a part of your journey to where you are and who you're becoming. So I wanted to just express all of this and talk about this, so that way you lighten yourself. You become lighter, and you actually become lighter in the physical sense and also energetically within yourself. You start to feel lighter. You don't feel heavy inside. I'm going to share something to end this off. I went to the post office today, and I was rushing as always. I have so much things to do, and I haven't been there in a while. And so I saw this man in there. He's a Jewish man, and he had these 3 little boys, and they were so active in there, and I was like, wow, this is children for you, especially boys are very active. So anyway, he left, and as I was leaving out, he actually waited to open the door for me. And I said, thank you, because it's very unusual sometimes for me, but I noticed a lot of the Jewish males have been coming into contact with me. And so that tells me that something's shifting. See, something's happening. And I'm seeing it with my own 2 eyes. And it's starting from within me, and it's showing, because you see, no matter what, God has the power to break down all the barriers and the blocks that we have. All the misconceptions and the way we view the world and how we think we should be by being separated from one another because of religion and cultural or whatever, you see. And so it gets better. So he holds the door for me, and I say thank you, and that didn't surprise me, but I was still like, oh wow, that's interesting. And so he's like, yeah, these little boys. I said, yes. I said, I know, I understand. I said, I have 5 children, and so I understand. And I said, he said, well, that's what we're here for, to have children. I said, no, not really. I said, we're here for love also. You know what he said to me? He said, you're right. He said, you're right. And he was one of those Jewish men with the yarmulke on his head. That's right. Okay. Full blown. And I say full blown, I don't mean that in any way to be, just describing it to you, because I want you to know that all of the cultural barriers are breaking down. You see, we caused ourselves to separate so we can get to know ourselves by coming back together as one. You see, that's how it works. It is on purpose. So we separated ourselves according to culture, creed, gender, everything. So anyway, he's walking, and then he says, you're right. He said, because you are love. And I didn't hear him at first. And I was like, and I responded to him with something different. And he said, no. I said, you are love. And I said, oh, yes, I am. And he said, and you're very beautiful also besides love. I said, thank you very much. I was like, really like, wow, this is something. And then so he's walking to his van. And I'm walking, because I'm going across to go to my vehicle. And he said, I just, wanted to tell you that. Thank you for, for what you said. And he shook my hand. That was even better. I mean, I was like, wow, because I remember that other Jewish guy that ran across the street on my birthday to come and hug me. He came and he ran. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And he came. He was going to go to the synagogue across the street because I'm in a private neighborhood and they have their, not synagogue, but their sundown worship on the Friday evening. I think it was, yeah. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking a picture. It's my birthday. And he's like, wow. He's like, I wish I could come. I said, well, come. I said, come give me a hug. And he actually did. He ran and came to give me a hug. When I took a picture of that, you see, that's unity, not separation. And regardless of whatever I've experienced, not in a bad way, with the differences that has happened, with Jewish people or any other culture for the matter, it didn't matter what happened in the past, you see. All that mattered was what was happening in the present moment. You see, so my light was shining so bright that they wanted to connect and feel that light and that connection. See? And when we all come to that realization that that is what we're truly up to here, more than, oh, I want to be with my twin, you see? That this light that shines is what's bringing forth the glory of God and the essence of her back on the planet from what was missing. Because you see, that balance of that feminine maternal energy is what had been missing. Why our males have gotten cold in their hearts and disbelieving about love and just thinking that being with a female is only for procreation, or that she's only just for cooking and cleaning and having babies. No, we're here to bring back divine love in its true essence. We're here to be in love with one another and share this love and work together as a community and build a community based on love. And that our children and our children's children will also be able to be on this planet of this Garden of Eden, okay? Because that's where it's existing, on this planet, Earth. We were experimenting for hundreds of thousands of years. And when I say experimenting, I'm not talking about the experimenting aspect to do with the, having physical sex with other different species and stuff. I'm talking about experimenting with the duality, because we incarnated on this planet to experience duality. And the duality was important and existed so that way we would remember to come back into wholeness while we forgot who we are. See? So when you understand that and remember that, then you don't get so hissy fit over all the shit that's happening. Okay? And when I say all the shit that's happening, I'm talking about the politics, the government, the wars that they want to create, all that stuff. Pay attention and focus, because all of that is to distract you, to distract your journey, to distract you from not focusing on love. Whatever you think about and focus the most on is what you create. So yes, this is happening here and that side, but guess what? The more of us that stay on that consciousness of love, being in love and making love and joy and happiness, guess what? That's the more we all do this together. We're 2 or more and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 10 and 20,000 more focusing, billions of us on the planet just focusing on love and joy and peacefulness and working together, then everything else starts to fall into place. Once again, when we attune to the spiritual aspect first and align it the physical, then it all meshes and blends together. It integrates, right? That's what happens. The physical part becomes that. See, before, we were always placing emphasis on what we're physically doing and leaving out the beingness and becoming like fucking robots. So step out of your robotic mentality. If you choose, if you want to be a robot, then continue being a robot. I will continue doing that. If that's what you choose, then go right ahead. If it makes you feel happy. Because, this is what I say. If you are not in your joy and fullness of joy, I'm not talking about, oh yeah, I'm happy, me feel good, man. Yeah, man. No, shut your fuck. Because you know that there's something more missing. Okay? And when you allow yourself to get to that place, when I always play that song, I'll take you there. I'll take you there. You see? That part of life where you can be in fullness of joy. Because if you're not in fullness of joy, okay, You're not in fullness of joy if you're still unhappy about certain things and you're not in your freedom. You see? Because fullness of joy is a higher state in consciousness than just, oh yeah, I'm happy. Okay? There's a difference. It's just like I'll never forget Archangel Gabriel when he says, oh, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. That's mediocre. That's low. But if you say, I am feeling magnanimous, magnificent, awesome, okay? That's a higher vibration. So that's the same thing when it comes to joy. Joy is the highest level of joy, okay? Or freedom, okay? Yes, it is. And there is more to it than that, okay? Because I'm talking about not only being in joy, but then also taking it another notch, joy combined with ecstasy. You think about when you are in that experience of making love and you're reaching that ultimate ecstasy and you're in joy at the same time. I even said, imagine if you are making love, cracking jokes at the same time, and listening to music that's also elevating you, and then you dance after that, okay? I've had that experience, and it is off the chain awesome. You see? Because what it does, it's the cells of my body are rejuvenated. And that's why I don't look the age that I look. Even someone today thought that I was 29. That's right. So, you know, what I'm saying is there are so many keys to getting to that place. And it's all in your memory. It's in your memory. It's for you to remember. Okay? And so that's why we're all here to help awaken one another. But I kind of get, you know, going a little more notch into the awakening. You know, there's a little more that comes with me in the package of Sharon, aka Queen Nefertiti, right? Aka, haha, so many AKs. But either way, I'm still me. And so there's just something more to stimulate you. Because when you look at me and when you hear my voice, you think love, being in love, wanting to make love. There's a higher energy. And so you are all being invited to come to that place. See, you are. So the ultimate thing that happened, speaking to this gentleman that opened the door for me and shook my hand and told me that I'm love, that was coming from God, because I was feeling kind of low today, you know, not low, but just a little low. And it was just raining, and so sad and depressing, you know, rain, everyday rain. But at the same time, see, I turn it around, you know, you complete the circle, you know, at least I don't have as much allergies affecting me. See, so it's still a blessing, you know. So in all things, give God thanks and praise. You see what I'm saying? Stay in a state of gratefulness. A state of gratefulness. So in the interim, or I should say at that point with that man, he took my business card. I told him what I do. I didn't have my business card as far as billing, because I told him that's what I do also. And I told him, and I said, you know something? I didn't have a card to do with the medical bill, but I had a card to do with the spiritual thing. So I told him, I said, you know what? I feel it was meant for you to have this card. That's why you have it. And he even took the time to wave at me before I left. And I said, this is God. I was to be at the post office at that time and that moment to meet that man with his 3 little boys and to have him interact with me and feel the essence of love coming from me, regardless of how I was feeling, because he probably didn't even know I wasn't even at my highest best at that time. You know what I mean? But it usually doesn't take me that long to raise my vibration again, you know? Because who says that you're going to be high vibration all the time? That's a facade, you know? FACADE. Because at some point, we will all be in high elevation all the time, okay? There won't be any experiencing of as much duality as one would say, or too much in the ego. So, it's all good, as we would say. It's all good. So, I'm very happy to have shared all of this with you today on this day, April 26th, which, by the way, I didn't remember. It is the new moon. New moon. And so the new moon is a representation of new beginnings. And it definitely means that we come into surrender and more change, and being prepared for more changes and more surrendering, and allowing yourself to understand what is happening in your experience and not judging it. So I will just stop right here. And don't forget to put out your intentions with this new moon in Taurus is what it is. I believe from what information that I had received in regards to it, that it has to do with we won't be feeling as if everything is just scattering all over the place, that now things are going to be more grounded in terms of what is physically manifesting, coming into the month of May. So, every time I think about May, I think in the very, very month of May, la 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 la. I love to bring on the little sing-song stuff in there, bringing that childlike energy. Even my grandson, his birthday is 5/5, and can you believe he's going to be 2 years young? 2 years young, yeah, that's right. And so I will be celebrating his life. I think it's next week, it's next week, because 5/5, and I've been seeing a lot of 5/5/5s lately too, which means movement. So a lot of movement is happening in my life, and it has been a journey. That's all I can say. I don't want to label anything. It has been a journey and then some. A journey and then some. So anyway, I'm going to play a little music like I always do. And I think I'm going to decide whether or not I want to play this little video that talks about the new moon. And I think it's something to read. So let me see. Okay, so I'm going to play this short video, New Moon in Taurus, Surrender Your Insecurities. And this is by Michelle Knight. So being that it's written words, I'm going to read it out while it is playing the background music. New Moon in Taurus. Surrender your insecurities. Let go. Surrender your insecurities. Your fears. Let go of your fears. Cast out your seeds for abundance. Dance. Yes, dance. Indulge in sensual delights. If you feel for chocolate, have chocolate, darlings. You are the beloved. It's time to trust your journey. And that's by Michelle Knight. I send you so much peace and infinite abundance of blessings, and that in all of this time that you are spending on your journey, that it is based on healing for you, releasing any fears or doubts or insecurities that you may have, and that you remember that you are the beloved, and that you are a part of God, and you're a part of this light. And let your light continue to shine, and that you are able to face your own inner darkness and remain steadfast into balancing out every aspect of your life, and that you allow yourself to receive and to receive and to give and to receive, and to balance out those parts of you that's giving and receiving, to know when to receive and to know when to give, to know when to let go and when to hold on, to know when it is time to move forward and time to step back. And so I send you so much love, peace, blessings. Sorobishken da manahite kinunare pekeroma. Eser shumire me kun bande be usmene bala shoko sebe. Ane mele me kun bar pato shumire. Nimene kito numine mika ne da shoko ne da chaba chano chacha mine chacha e chano chama ishala ne chako ne beta seme to shumi mamna kulo mina mala chela kondo mi chacha mkumna isala ne cheche se to shokuno ma ete cheni ntumba debe kundum dande adi isa ni chao no ma anene chao to se chacha ne beta chain ta chakumdam danda ira ilamde ne beta to chumamda ri beta beta truma Iamni de bito shmi beta mada koto shmi bata bata kanera kino no mama na mana isela koto shmi am na dai sela no no da ta ciao. And it is April 26, 2017. This is an addendum to the recording that I made to do with the update on my twin flame journey. Well, I had a dream, very powerful dream, to do with Rondi and his family and my family. It was all of us. It's like it was all of us together. It's like I feel like there are so much things happening in the astral plane when it comes to my family. Even my mom was in the dream, and Rondi's mother and father. I can't really remember if Colin was in the dream, the energy, but I can't really tell. But it was so much of us, and it's like we were having a feast. And then at the same time, there were these huge, giant snakes that were like dead and shredded and shedding, and they were, like gone. I mean, that's what it was like in the dream. And we were eating like seafood, like a lot of seafood and everything. It's like I'm just trying to remember the details of the dream. And we were just getting acclimated with one another in the dream. It was so many of us, and a lot of interaction. And they were these, these babies again, I think, in the dreams I'm vaguely remembering. So it's very significant. And then interestingly, I received contact from Colin, not anything to do with good morning or anything, nothing like, oh, sorry, I didn't get back to you, nothing like that. It was just information he sent to me that I had asked him about from a long time, over a week ago or so. But it does show that what I realize is that, as I stated, that the more that I've cleared up things within me, is the more things are still coming together to do with my union. It's just coming together rapidly, accelerating. So, because I feel I even spiritually cleaned up my room and everything, and I can feel the difference, of things that are happening. And, sometimes people have to be moved out of my space just to do with my union. And, it's nothing against anyone, but sometimes that's how it happens. And that's how it occurs also, that if anyone is a block to my union, they're going to be removed, and the Holy Spirit will do that, for whatever I have to do with me because of the significance. And, eventually the person may come back, and eventually they may not come back. So, in Colin's case, he's still a part of this with me all the way, and with Rondi. So there's no separating this between me and him. Even as I say this, my body's just getting chills. So it's a lot of things swirling and whirling around all of this. And I'm definitely going to look up, the significant thing that I'm remembering more than anything else in the dream is the significance of these huge giant snakes that the skin is shedded. And what's significant is Rondi pointing to it and showing it to me in the dream. So that shows that there are major things that are shedding, that have been shed, not shedding, because it's already, the snakes were already like dead. The snakes were dead, and these were like anaconda snakes, not even little snakes. These were like anaconda snakes, gigantic snakes, and all of the skin off of these snakes were off. So that's telling me that it's a huge part of the oversoul. I know the soul monad is number 7. My soul number is 717, and even this morning before I went to bed, just as I was looking at a picture of Colin, I saw 717. So it's like it's just everything's just popping up in my face, to do with my soul number and the connection I have to Colin. Excuse me. And the connection that I have to Rondi. So that tells me that there's a huge, gigantic layers of things that have been shedded already. And just because I dream about a snake doesn't mean that it's negative either. So, because these snakes were all different colors and stuff like that. I mean, there was like a lot of activity in this dream because there was like, it's almost like being in a recreational center, you know, like playing games and all that stuff. It was just so much of his family, but it's like there's a lot of interaction going on and everything. So being that, Rondi's family I dreamt today, and then I dreamt about my mom. She was in the dream also. My mom was in the dream. And then even on the weekend, I dreamt about my mother separately, Rondi separately, Colin separately. And in this case, there was no separateness because this time they were all in this dream. So we were all in the dream together. It was not separately. So that even tells me, oh, I see 555 as I was recording because I was recording 5 minutes and 55 seconds. So that tells me that is major because that tells me that there is movement happening to do with my union in a mighty way. And the snakes, as I said, these were giant anaconda snakes, huge giant anaconda snakes. And so that signifies the huge amount of work that has happened between me, Rondi, and Colin with bringing us all together in union, especially to do with his family and my family, even with my aunts, because I've dreamt so much about my aunt Denise as well, where she had been separated from me for quite a while now. So I really feel like as if major things are going to start happening during the month of May. I'm picking up on that too as well. And I don't know which is, but all I know is that I'm probably going to be just bracing myself for who's going to start contacting me, that's what I'm feeling because, even those who separated from me or have been separated from me, whether intentionally, purposefully or not, when the time is right, God will bring us back together because we separate in order to allow each aspect of the soul that is being cleared to work through that healing aspect in order for it to come back together again into the wholeness. So in the midst of the separateness, it is necessary, and within that separateness, we bring ourselves back into wholeness. So that's extremely significant to understand how this process also works when it comes to our twin flame journey. And well, I feel much better than I did yesterday because I was even telling my girlfriend Cheryl, thanking her for really being on this ride with me through this entire journey, because she started out with me in my life way before me knowing that I was a twin soul. And everything has happened simultaneously from all these years. And so she has never cut herself off from me, as I've indicated. And she had prophesied on me about me doing this audiobook. She saw it. She heard it in spirit. And I agreed with her. And she started out with me even up until the point when my aunts Denise and my aunt Jenna separated from me. And even though there were times when it was odd for her, and I would say almost sometimes scary in a way, with all that energy I had to deal with clearing stuff out, because the kind of clearing that I've had to do is on major scales. I have to be clearing out those who have passed on and are on the other side, that were still in limbo on this side. I had to clear out energies to do with the family bloodline. So now the way how it makes me feel is like on Rondi's side of family and my side of family, all of that clearing is what's happening to do with our families, and there is no separateness to do with his family or mine. This is all this in this together, this entire soul group, this entire soul mad, the entire soul aspect. And so because we are a part of a major dynasty from a past life. This is what's being shown to me, is that this dynasty is coming together, because even the picture that was taken between myself and Colin and Danielle and the other Sharon that I know, when I look at the picture, I said, damn, the way we pose in the picture, we look like dynasty, you know? So this is sort of what I am being shown from spirit, to do with what's happening around my union and what is happening in my life, and how I am having this experience and how it's affecting me, to do with my union on a major scale. So, and like I said, the union is not just the union between myself and Rondi and Colin, but it also is in it's also in respect to our families, all of our families, and also friends, those who are on this path and this journey, and everyone is on this path or journey, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, but just that some are more, I would say, involved in it, or accepting of it and moving towards it, embracing it, propelling with it, acclimating it, anchoring it. It's everything happening together, because it's like we're in a huge, gigantic sing song. We're clearing, then coming together, clearing, coming together. That's what this is like. And we're clearing out our emotions, and a lot of things if we held on to with our emotional bodies, and things we've held on to with our mental bodies, things that we've held on to in our physical bodies, because a lot of things are coming out. I even forgot to mention that there was effects that I was having even with my heart, where I was having slight heart chakra activations that were happening with me as well, along with the gosh, what do you call it, along with the earache and the throat pain I was having and all that, which would look and appear as if you were having flu symptoms, but it was actually Ascension symptoms. That's what it is. So, and then there's itching you may have it too, with your skin and your body and all of that. So it's so many different things. So, this is what this is. And I am, like I said, on this path of a higher expression of love, being in love with more than one person, being in love with two people who are a part of my life, and we're connected on a major scale. So you see, this is not where I am doing, I know a lot of feminine twins, they think and feel that they're doing the work alone, and it's just them. But no, there is activity happening in the higher planes. And so this activity was taking place while I was resting. And I didn't really have as much sleep, but I did get some sleep, and I'm still resting a little bit more in a different way. But at least I wanted to record this. I wanted to record this as far as what is happening, and bring this all together in its entirety. And also to talk about how and what a difference it has made, and how I feel even talking this out, and putting all the pieces together, as always. So that is what I had to say so far as the addendum to what I recorded earlier today on April 26, 2017. This is the new moon. And so, even in and of itself, I feel lighter, as I indicated, I feel lighter. And when we keep clearing things that are within our soul, and when I say clearing things, that means that we are looking at things from all perspectives, because one person may feel something emotional or hurtful or painful from one perspective, or joyful, and then the other one may see something different from another perspective. That's what twins represent also, is the experiences that we have and how we view things, and the yin and the yang, the polarities. And so when we allow ourselves to understand and look at it from a higher perspective as to what the soul is up to, not necessarily what is physically happening with the physical body, what the the person is saying physically, or what they see, but what the soul is up to, And when I say what the soul is up to, because the soul is orchestrating everything that is happening to bring itself together, to bring itself back together into the wholesomeness, because we caused ourselves to separate from, everything. We separated from the God consciousness. We separated ourselves in terms of gender. We picked out who we were going to have in our families. What are the things that we were going to experience in this lifetime to filter out and to work to from what the soul has experienced for many, many lifetimes. What do we come to master? What do we come to perfect? Because the soul is always looking towards its perfection, even within the imperfections. It's like we take both aspects all the time, because the soul is about being within its perfection and imperfection, you see. And so we take this on, and we have done this many, many times, but now we're doing this on a higher, grander scale. So that is just about the size of it. And I would just thankful and grateful for these moments of wisdom and understanding and knowledge. Salute. It is April 26, 2017. It is now 6:38 p.m. Of course, whenever I do anything in twos, there's always a third. So I'm going to read the meaning of the recording, the numbers that came up in the recording, because the last recording I did was 15 minutes and 15 seconds. And as I looked at it at that moment, I took a screenshot. The numbers said 155151. So that was a lot of fives and ones in combination sequence. So I knew right away, Spirit said I was to look it up to see what it means. And so I looked it up, and it says repeating angel numbers, fives and ones, 5511, 5151, 5111, etc. It says the 5 and 1 combination is a message from your angels that your thoughts are creating and bringing about changes in your life. Please keep this in mind as you co-create your life with the angels and the universe. Positive thoughts and actions bring about more positive energy. This combination suggests that a new beginning or the instigation or undertaking of a new project, idea, or opportunity is due to come about. You are advised to continue steering your thoughts towards your desired direction. If the changes you see forthcoming are not what you want, be aware that you are able to stop to alter them by modifying your thoughts, mindset, and focus. So that's very significant, because this is more like confirmation from Spirit in reference to the dream that I had this morning, and what it means as far as the changes that are coming about in my life. It's like I even, like, my stomach is kind of nervous and anxious, because I can feel the vibration of the change and the shift. And no matter what happened over the weekend, that still had to happen to bring on that change. Another thing that is no coincidence whatsoever, I don't remember who I was speaking to, but I had made reference to how there's a picture on the internet that shows of a woman where she's on her knees and she's looking up, and her hands are extended out towards her left side of her body. And there's an old part of her body that's shut off, like the skin. And that's exactly what it would be like I would say in a metaphorical sense, as far as the human body. We're not really literally shedding our skin, but then again, at the same time we are, because the body is going through major upgrades and changes. And major upgrades and changes mean the cells of your body are starting to shift and to acclimate more of your light body quotants and sequence and codes, DNA codes. These are new DNA codes that are integrating more and more into our physical bodies. And then as we are going through these changes, that's why the body is reacting to these light quotants that are coming in from your higher self, coming in more and more and more. And the more we clears, the more it comes in. The more we clears, the more it comes in. So it's very interesting that I was talking about this picture now, and I meant to look for it for a long while back, and boom, I looked up on the internet about what it meant to do with the shedding of the large anacondas that were colors. They were colorful. The skin was colorful. It wasn't like a dark color. It was all different colors. And so I found something on a blog by Tanya Marie, and I'm going to read to you what it says here, and it's just perfect exactly to what it was talking about to do with my twin flame journey. It said, shedding skin is a symbol of rejuvenation and new life. Snakes and other reptiles like lizards periodically eliminate the old by the shedding of their skin and emerge stronger, larger, and healthier. The ancients received insights about life through nature and observing the animals and cycles. They believed that there was a wisdom that each life form held, and that snakes in particular knew the secrets of death that leads to rebirth. This does not have to mean an actual physical death, but can merely be a symbolic death of everything that once was being released in order to emerge through a new expansive doorway of experience unencumbered by anything. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come, says Joseph Campbell, famous teacher of mythology, as he refers to the snake symbolism of shedding skin as a metaphor for inner growth. If you want resurrection, and see, isn't that perfect? It's around this time of the resurrection, because I did say on my Facebook Live that the resurrection wasn't going to be just for that one day. It was just that it was becoming more powerful in this time frame, and especially with the planets being in retrograde and the new moon and all that stuff, and it's very significant. So it's like I knew and felt that everything that I've been experiencing spiritually, physically, metaphysically, it is a part of my resurrection and a part of my inner growth. So it says, if you want resurrection, you must have crucifixion. We must be willing to get rid of the life we planned. It means like practically dying, killed away, you know, so as to have the life that is waiting for us. This can be a challenge for some, and currently this is the process that we are simultaneously experiencing. A deep inner house cleaning of all that no longer serves the new paradigm of you and the collective new reality birthing. Letting go completely allows the next stage of growth to flow in. Sometimes you know this is upon you and you willingly engage the process, and at other times it erupts like a volcano, seeming to come out of nowhere, and yet still it is reflecting what you desire and have asked for, which is true, because what happened over the weekend, everything just came out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck? Like, where is this happening? I don't understand. Am I in a different world here? Am I speaking a different language, different tongue, blah, 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 you know, what? Okay. So it's true. It's true. Thank God I processed it. I processed the whole thing. So it says, you just forgot and didn't realize what was all entailed in the process. See, just use the word process. I recently shared about coming upon a full snake skin on a hiking path a few weeks ago. This felt very profound, and it made its way home with me. In following guidance, it was a gift to use in sacred practice. See, that's why I said that anything to do with the snake is not a bad thing, because, you know, those are old belief systems and thinking that snakes is evil and snakes is bad and, you know, tempting and all these type of things, you know, and all of that is the, you know, the old templates, you know, the old templates of what has been taught, you know, religious and cultural purposes. Anyway, further reading. This felt very profound. And she says, and just yesterday, a full lizard skin was gifted to me. We have a lizard friend that likes to take refuge in the garage, and yesterday morning I discovered its skin left fully intact, which I'm cleansing right now, entwined in some wire gating material. It appeared as if a hologram of the old lizard was left behind, as it was caught in an action position as the new lizard went freely on his way. So now I have two full shedded skins, and this feels to speak powerfully to the depths of layers and multiple deaths I'm experiencing in rapid time. Now that is interesting, because that is probably what I was experiencing, is multiple deaths, you know, with my body, with the earache and that. Then how I was feeling inside with what I was experiencing with Colin, was experiencing with Brenda. You know, all of this is, it was multiple. The dreams I was having to do with my mom and my aunt, you know, because my mother's on the other side. So everything's culminating to do with on my family's side and Rondi and Colin's family side. See, so it's all intertwining together. Oh, I see 717. So you see, that's confirmations. I was on talking 7 minutes and 17 seconds. So that is the soul number. And you know, hey, that's confirmation again. I didn't look for that, you see. So now it says here, multiple deaths I'm experiencing in rapid time. I know that there's a very clear distinction between what people are feeling and going through right now. Some are beginning to access that intensely magical next leap in the possibilities of experience we've been talking about for some time now, while others are experiencing an intensity of what the new means for them in their life, which is me. I'm experiencing an intensity of what the new is, not in a bad way, in a great way. You know, it's almost like everything that I've been waiting for and wanting, and, you know, it's like it's about to just like boom, 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 one after the other, like a domino effect. That's how I'm feeling inside, like a child, like it's almost Christmas and you don't know what's going to come under the Christmas tree, but then you're all excited and like, oh my God, I wonder what the surprise is going to be, but you know there's a surprise coming. But then again, it's not a surprise because you've been anticipating the things that you've been putting out there in the universe, and now when you've been waiting for so long and then it's just about to finally manifest, you're like, oh my God, you know. So it kind of feels like that kind of energy for me. So I feel excited inside, internally, and because I feel excited internally, then I know that something is definitely going to be showing up in my physical reality any day now. So anyway, some are beginning to access that intensely magical next leap in the possibilities of experience we've been talking about for some time now, while others are experiencing an intensity of what the new means for them in their life. the choices that will need to be made, and perhaps struggling with letting go of some of those really deep things, or having challenge in shifting perception. I can't walk the experience for you, but I can walk the embodiment of my own experience as fully as I possibly can to support an energetic bridge of access. In our holding that space of wholeness to the best we each can, we mirror the wholeness in each other. This is the clearest connecting path to that. I love riddle messages that challenge me to expand my ways of perceiving and being. There's been some key things coming through lately that are so subtle and almost undetectable in shifts of perspective that are quickly eating away at everything. I'm loving the experience of living alchemy. See, I love that alchemy, because that's what I'm doing. I'm alchemizing everything and purging, clearing, and processing and all that stuff. And that is what alchemy is, and it just continues to go from lead to dust like gold, and that's the process that we go through. And so we're alchemizing spiritually and physically at the same time. As I said before, the body is going through changes. My body's going through changes, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And it's also transcending through myself with Rondi and Colin at the same time. I'm telling you, this is like some heavy, powerful stuff, and then also with our families. So it's a huge thing here. This is like a project. Really, seriously, it's like a project. So anyway, to read further on, she says here, I can't walk the experience for you. Before that, when she says perhaps struggling with letting go of some of those really deep things, or having challenge in shifting perception. And that's it, shifting perception, because that's what I had to do, is shift my perception of what I was looking at with what I was experiencing based on what Colin did and what Brenda did. So I had to shift my perception and bring it back to myself as far as how I was feeling. So I'm explaining this because I want to be able to help others to be able to do that for themselves as well, and what it means when you're shifting perception at the moment when you're experiencing what you're experiencing, and to understand it for what it is, how it's reflecting back to you. Okay, because you see, whatever I may be perceiving may be another reason, or some other reason what they're perceiving and thinking why their action would look like how it looks to me, and vice versa. See, that is how we are constantly co-creating at the same time, and we're also ascending at the same time in different ways. Okay, so she says, I can't walk the experience for you, but I can walk the embodiment of my own experience as fully as I possibly can. Like, I'm walking the embodiment right now. I'm in the embodiment of my soul. And more is coming in more and more, because it's huge. It's humongous. And it says to support an energetic bridge of access. In our holding that space of wholeness to the best we each can, to the best that you can, we mirror the wholeness in each other. See? So it mirrors within each other, individually and collectively. This is the clearest connecting path to that. I love riddle messages that challenge me to expand my ways of perceiving and being. There's been some key things coming through lately that are so subtle and almost undetectable in shifts of perspective that are quickly eating away at everything. I'm loving the experience. Reminds me of Pac-Man, when Pac-Man was just chomping away and eating away until it gets to its destination. Well, I feel that's exactly what this is. That's how Spirit is showing to me. And I love that game, Pac-Man. I really did, So she says here again, I'm loving the experience of living alchemy that is creating a dimensional shift of embodiment to take place. I know many of you understand what I am at a loss for words to share, but a little more each day that experience unbinds into the greater experience of the all right now. Yes, major change is upon us. It is each of our choices, what each change feels like and manifests as. You see, and it's true. My reality to what I'm co-creating and how it manifests and what it feels like is according to how I feel, also what I believe, and also a little bit of what I'm in an element of surprise with. And at the same time, also what I'm expecting, because I'm going above and beyond my expectations here of what I'm creating. That's right, absolutely, above and beyond. That means that I can really truly, which I feel I'm going to experience an abundance of all there is. You see, that's what I am choosing, and that's what I'm bringing into my reality. So as she says here, I can only share from my own experience and perspective that the shedding of skin process is well worth the rebirth that takes place. Keep the faith, challenge yourself, and one more step each day, and realize that it all has the ability to shift at any moment in reflection to you. Remember that we are all in this together, and we each have the same access to new doorways of experience. We just have different ways and timings that support our highest good into that embodiment. There is no right or wrong or judgment on how or when that unfolds, or even if that is your desire to unfold. Ask yourself how you feel about the journey each step of the way, how best you can align to support yourself into feeling what you desire, and be willing to follow the answers you're guided in action to take. I'll leave you with some words from Will Barnes, author of The Expansion of the Soul. In the voyage of your worldly existence, the sails at which your life float upon are tethered by the thoughts and emotions at which you harbor, expand. Centered, open, and diverse, the universe's correspondence to your hopes and dreams is the deliverance of your foremost thoughts and actions. Energetically, you can create and destroy your immediate set of circumstances under the same laws. Posed as friends and foes, you will have obstacles, ones in which you must go through, over, under, and aside, sometimes to overcome. These are the stepping stones to your future reality. Overcome that which has weakened your state of mind and conquer the thoughts and actions that you have let led your life. When the world turns and we operate at our own personal vibration, it is in our power to withhold our dignity and integrity at the highest possible frequency, which this as an active force we can command our reality in the physical realm. Justly, we shall take all the opportunity that manifests itself in arm's reach. To be one and have and do what we dream is concurrent only on a high wavelength and operative to those who seek a higher sense of self. Are you ready to expand to these levels of operation? Have you taken the steps? Step forward and release all your fears. When you combine desire and faith to that it is in which you aspire to, you send a proactive force into the universe that creates a wave of energy, thus activating energy particles which then begin the manifestation process. Kind of like a magnet to iron. The bigger the desire equaled with faith, the higher likeliness of materializing what it is you strive for. Stop living a life in which you are not in control of and join forces with the universe in which we are all a part of. Expand your consciousness and be grateful for every instance in the physical plane. It is what you must decide if you want to live the life you want. And that is the reading taken from Tina Marie's blog. And I'm so happy. And I see 1555 again. That is incredible. The third time. So I send you so much love, and I'm so thankful for these messages that I received from Divine Holy Spirit and I share with you today to do with my personal twin flame journey. And know that no matter what happens, there are no rights and wrongs to this. It is all happening now in the moment as I see my union number 1616. Blessings. fi sen de to amande be kunda